We are back for another episode of Good Earners reviewing The Sopranos. And here on Good Earners, we like to talk about family, finessing, finances, and feelings in the world of Tony Soprano, bringing you a new perspective, a fly perspective, and a black perspective. I'm here with my two co-hosts, my brothers, the Capos themselves, Spike Lou, Big Rich Town. How you fellas doing, man?
What up, though?
Doing well, man. Doing well. We made it.
Man.
Episode 64 of the series.
Ooh, we getting up there, bro. Like you said, episode 64. Of course, y'all can see it in the title, and Spike will give us the synopsis. But before we get to that point, we do like to acknowledge the supporters of ours. So without further ado, this is becoming even more of a popular segment now. They're giving me the Kanye West treatment. Like, people want to know. Anyways,
Now we're gonna let you. Speaking of Kanye, we're gonna let you finish, man.
All right.
That's the thing you need to know. We are going to let you.
We will
finish.
let you finish.
I promise you. I promise you. Like, you can finish.
I can finish. All right.
Yeah.
We got an email from DKN Corpse at AOL. They said in the
And AOL?
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean,
Hey, man, shout out to the Reach, man.
Man,
God, this nigga
that-
got to be like 70.
he got to be 60. He hit us back. Let us know how old you are.
89, 99, 2009. Damn,
AOL is classic.
Yeah,
But
DK Corpse. Yeah, you near that if you got
You're a
AOL.
wild dude, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
You're a wild dude.
The subject line is Lee Harvey Oswald. It says 42/M. I'm not familiar what that means.
He's a 42-year-old male.
Wow. All right. So many questions. He says, I certainly know who Lee Harvey Oswald is. Never heard of Big Meech or Larry Hoover until that song. I obviously referencing from Test Dream.
My next
His
thing
email
would be
AOL, so that's not off at all.
I wonder what his ethnicity is.
Come on now. If he hasn't heard of Larry Hoover or Big Meech without the song.
That ain't necessarily true. That's what I'm saying. That it ain't as far. I think it could be a
No, here's the
thing.
Here's why, Mo.
Okay.
If he was 26,
mm-hmm.
you can be black and not know who Larry Hoover was or Big Meech without that. I think older black people, you know who Larry, because their names were ringing before that song came out.
Okay.
That's my opinion. I don't think he's
That's true.
I don't think he's a black person. But, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. We was wrong about our mixed queen.
Yeah, that's true.
But once again,
shout out to her, man.
Shout out to her. She hit us up too. For my guy, Chris Fallone, he says, he DM'd us on IG. He says, Test Dream is brutal, man. You guys did a great job turning chicken shit into chicken salad and still putting out an entertaining episode with no material to work with. Test Dream is below just another envelope. It should have been rated the Scraps and Fields scrapbook.
I like that. I like that.
That's good, Chris Malone.
Dog.
I like that. I like that.
Chris is witty, man. He is really clever.
He is good. He's good.
He's really good, man. Shouts out to our Italian East Coast Connect. I forgot to bring up, but he told us where Uncle Pat's farm was. He said it was in New York.
They mentioned it.
Okay. We got a comment on YouTube from our last episode, Test Dream, from our guy Coyote, the Okapi. He says Tony would smack AJ if he didn't know who Lee Harvey Oswald was. P.S. I caught the Rona this week and quarantining. Got me feeling like Uncle June on house arrest. Thanks for bringing me laughs while I recover. Man, shouts out to that, man. That's what we're here to do, man. Bring laughter, joy, fun. That's what we do it for, man. Shouts out to Coyote,
soon,
man.
Yeah,
absolutely. I hope you feel good, man. Seriously, like, take care of yourself and tune in and give us an update when you're feeling better, for sure, man. Come on, man. We got from our guy Matt Matt from IG, also the guy that, the painter, the very talented painter that I've had conversations with. He hit us up and he's talking about basically like he had listened to the episode and he's like, hey, I still got those paintings when you're ready. And then he ends up hitting back and says, no, and he says, no problem, dude. I just listened to Cold Cuts. I'll never sing you more than 3 sentences.
Yeah, ain't nobody trying to. Hey, nobody wants to be the next contestant on that Summer Jam screen.
Oh man,
nobody wants to be on that Summer Jam screen. Where they emailed, they hear their name. I guarantee you, Mo, and I'm not making this up. I guarantee you, anybody who writes in, when they listen to the episode where you're reading, they're holding their breath like, is he gonna finish all this?
Bro, they're like, oh, they gonna turn me into like a bit now. I don't want to be turned into a bit through the episode.
I'm with Spike. Like I'd be writing you 2 pages until.
Oh my God. I would copy and paste it just to see if you would read it all.
That's funny.
I copy and paste the synopsis off Wikipedia, nigga.
Man, that is a great bit to add to this, Good Earners. Speaking of our mixed queen, Amanda, she hit us up. She DM'd and she said, "Hey guys, finished Cold Cuts episode this morning, and the reference of Christopher crying, listen to Mary J was hilarious. Now, whenever I watch the show and he's winning, I will forever think of him as Christopher Mary J. Keep up the good work, and looking forward to the episode when you guys do long-term parking, one of my top 5 episodes." Shouts out to Amanda. Yeah.
We here, Amanda.
Here we are. Here we are. And our last one.
It is time.
Mm-hmm. And our last one comes from a YouTube comment from user ZH2W, so on and so forth.
That's wild.
It is not a word. I mean, what do you want to do?
I know, but that's wild that they. Never mind. Keep going.
just found your podcast a week or so ago, and I've listened through season 3, episode 3. Rich, do you mind pulling it up? Just for reference point, season 3, episode 3. It says,
"Oh, what episode it is?"
Yeah, and it says, "And I'm loving every minute. You guys really seem to get the show, and it's fascinating to hear your perspective on what I consider the finest piece of art, not just television, ever made. I've never seen anything more complex, deep, or thought-provoking about every aspect of life than The Sopranos. And every rewatch teaches me more about life, death, relationships, human nature, and myself. And as I get older and more experience and life has happened to me, the show just hits harder and keeps hitting harder. Keep up the great work."
Ooh, that one got close. I felt you backing out of that. That one got really close. See,
look at him.
For reference, Mo, that's Fortunate Son. That's the episode where Chris gets made. Chris and Eugene get made. Meadow. This episode right after Olivia dies, and Meadow is still upset at Tony about Noah's treatment.
Okay,
so a lot of stuff going on.
That's why I said that's when it started to really become what I know as The Sopranos. But
yep, and you know what? That's one before Employee of the Month.
We appreciate that, man. We appreciate all our supporters. If y'all want to reach out, goodearnerpod@gmail.com or Instagram, goodearnerpod_Sopranos. But nonetheless,
you know what I just realized before we get started?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it never really dawned on me because we do this week by week, but the shelf life for this podcast is going to be,
yep,
you know what I mean, forever. Like there's people, we're in season 5, and y'all started this win over a year ago.
Yep, over a year ago.
We won't end until early next year, and there's people still finding it. Because if you love The Sopranos, you're gonna tune in. So I just think that's dope. Shout out to all y'all for tuning in, not just to The Sopranos, but to us as well.
Yeah,
it means a lot.
I'm in that business. I'm only creating things on that level now. But nonetheless, seriously.
Talk your shit, Mo. Talk your shit, Mo.
What? I'm serious. I'm just saying. All right. Let me get out of here. Spike Lou, what episode review today?
Mo, Rich, this is season 5, episode 12. It's titled Long-Term Arcing. Classic episode, man. The feds, they think they caught Adriana up on tape. That leads to some troubling series of events unfolding. Tony and Carm negotiate their future. Little Carmine is out, and that gives John a new sense of power that Tony will have to deal with. Tony B is on the lam, and Chris isn't handling Tony's management style well, which may lead to life-changing decisions. This is season 5, episode 12, titled Long-Term Arcing.
Man, never mind. I had another joke. I'm gonna let it marinate. We jump right in.
Only cook, man.
Nah, I was gonna say maybe it was gonna be a tie. I was about to tie Drake and everything into it, but
I don't know. God, never mind. I'm glad we
Uh,
didn't even. Never mind.
it was gonna be good though. We go right into an opening scene, and the feds is watching surveillance of Adriana, and in the surveillance, Adriana's throwing trash away, and then she decides, "Oh, let me take the trash back and put it in my trunk." What do y'all take from this? Because I mean, we're getting right to it.
This is stupid. This is stupid that this was something that they're even able to jam her up in it. They don't know what's in that bag. They don't know what's going on. And she, being the dummy that she is, just gives them everything that they need to move forward with this. It's so stupid.
But you don't know somebody's watching like that.
You don't know what I got in this bag.
Well, she had a pretty fair lie when she did come up with it though. Like, because
Stick to it then.
Yeah.
Stick to it. Like you
I'm
have
keep a closer
no
watch.
idea what I have in this bag.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're a criminal, like you got to prove it. If I'm a criminal, y'all catch me. You have to prove it, nigga. You don't know what's in that bag.
Mm-hmm.
So
To make our cross, we'll start early this week. Cross reference with The Wire, season 2. There's a moment where Bodie got to get rid of some guns, tosses them over the bridge. Instead of going in the water, they land on this boat. The cops come in, make up this story. Like, yeah, man, we know you use one of these guns for this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
And Bodie just looks at him and he's like, yeah, I know which one is yours. The cop messed up and said, I know which gun is yours. And the nigga Bodie, he's like, you know what? Which one? Mm-hmm. And there was that moment where they had to look at each other and like, damn, I don't know, but I'm gonna take a guess. Yeah. And he took the guess. And that nigga Bodie made a little smirk like, lawyer, nigga, you don't know shit. Like y'all playing. And that's the mindset that, obviously Bodie was more in the life than Adriana is. Mm-hmm. But I'll say this forever, man. I'm just startled by the lack of awareness that Adriana has in this whole thing. Mm-hmm. Because we don't know this at this time of watching it, but we know in the episode what's in that bag. Mm-hmm. Adriana, you know that the feds are on you. You have to assume that they know every single thing. It's almost like dude told him in this episode, or told her in this episode, you really think you in here because we don't know what happened at that club? Or we don't know what's in that bag? Mm-hmm. Like, you have to assume all of that. So, truth be told, the funny part is if she just left that in the dumpster, she'd have been cool. Yeah. She drew suspicion to herself because you're looking suspicious. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the one thing that I think separates great criminals from bad criminals, are the ones that know this is what it is. Like, I'm going to live and die with these results. Mm-hmm. Like, when you start looking suspicious, everybody else gonna look at you suspicious too, because you know you're guilty. Nobody else knows you're guilty. Yeah. You know it's what I mean? Hard thing though. It's a very hard thing. It's very hard, but that's why that life ain't for everybody. And Adriana, like you should, we've talked about this. She's been in over her head for quite some time. Yeah. So it makes sense. It's true to her character. So I don't want to say it like that, but it just amazes me how you get caught up in something like this. Like, you don't know, like, before you leave that office, you should know exactly what the game plan is. Yeah. You should know exactly
it was a sporadic thing. Unfortunately, I will say I'll give her grace, even though, I mean, we've seen her do a lot more ignorant things. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, how did you miss this? But this is one of those scenarios when we find out the whole story, I was like, okay, you got spooked, that you had zero idea this was happening. And it literally, you thought you were alone. Like, you thought, you didn't know nobody had like a bird's eye view on you for real. I mean, sure, you should have been navigating accordingly, but like, even it's crazy. Yeah. I think what Spike said, you should have just wrote, keep the lie alive, in the words of Martin.
Keep the lie alive? Nah. And just lastly, just how observant you got to be. You really look at that operation that the feds are running. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody has a role. Like, this dude's job is just to look at security camera. Yeah. Like, the boring ass footage. I might spend 18 hours looking at this and might only see 30 seconds worth of like pertinent information. Mm-hmm. But the fact that he saw that and he was aware enough to say, that's odd. I don't know what's in that bag, but that's odd that she threw it away, because nobody takes trash, throws it away, and then picks it back up and put it in their car, unless they're trying to hide something. Yep. So just the observation on his end, like, I don't know what this is, but it's worth mentioning. Mm-hmm. Just something as small as that can get you jammed up. Mm-hmm. And Adriana, when you know you got a Fed case going, you got to be more aware than that.
Mm-hmm. Facts. And I'd like to reiterate the point, like, to what Rich was saying. I'm not saying that this was stupid about a show. It was just stupid on Adriana's part. This is brilliant from the world of Sopranos to show that something so small led to what it leads to, as we'll get into in the rest of the episode. but it was too small for someone who even is affiliated adjacent. Like I may not be affiliated, but my uncle or dad, whatever Dickie was to her, I've been dealing with Chris for so long. Like, come on, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all prove it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so much more I would say. But what I will say too, y'all know how hard I went. If y'all haven't already, go back and listen to our season 2 review. How I just did not like how I didn't like the way they did with the opening episode of season 2 and how they were with the feds. I wasn't a fan. I didn't like I don't know. I just didn't like how the Sopranos were utilizing the feds. Now the way they're using them, I'm liking it. I'm loving it. To be honest, like I'm loving because now it feels like okay, we got real chance now. We got a real foot in the game right now. So I like how they're using them now. I feel like it's a little more seasoned and tailored versus how it was before. So I definitely gave them a hard time in season 2. But yeah, we go to the next scene, and Adriana's in the hospital with her mom, and we see her stress is growing, and the doc wants to prescribe her the veto medication.
He's having a wedding, for Christ's sakes.
But bro, the only thing I thought was funny, I thought was just funny is like it could cause weight gain, and you can have moon face. I don't know why. I bet that's a real thing, but just moon face is just I don't know. It's funny to me.
I wonder how Jerry Lewis felt about that because Jerry Lewis didn't pass till 2017. Mm-hmm. And I always wonder what he thought about. Like she just casual, like you seen Jerry Lewis in the past couple years. Like damn, Jerry Lewis. Like damn, why catch it straight,
bro? He was on. They even said it on Entourage, right? Where y'all about to be next? Yeah, on one of the episodes, his name got brought up in something too. So it's funny that name is ringing bells right now.
Did they switch Adriana's mom?
Bro, that's the same question I had. Oh, they did.
Yeah. They did.
Yeah, okay. That's not the same mom from.
That ain't the. I was gonna say.
I say her because her mom was kind of still kind of like like she's kind of like.
And we see the mom again in season 6.
This one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we see her in season 6.
See, Sopranos is really good about
that
too.
But the mom before this, it wasn't her mom, right? Like we've seen her mom before, and that wasn't.
Yeah, we saw. Cause remember, Chris was talking to her crazy.
Yeah, right. We was like, bro, why are you grabbing her up like that? We like, bro,
no, that wasn't her.
Gotcha.
Hold on, was that her? Actually, that was her. I'll take that back.
Kind of looked like her, but she looked older.
She just looks completely different. It's like she aged 10 years. And no, obviously, I'm not trying to be ageist, but she looks much older now than she did when we saw her in season 2, season 3, whenever it was. Yeah, so that is the same actor though.
Mm. Yeah, Liz.
She had the shit out, and she look even older next season. But that makes sense because she's stressing.
Yeah.
Goodness. Keep your head up, Liz.
Damn.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Anything else y'all want to add to we just found out? I mean, the stress level is growing.
Keep your head up, Liz. It's crazy.
That was crazy.
I guess in the context of things.
Yeah, man, your daughter would disappear with no notice. And you talking about, keep your head up.
Keep your head up.
Hey, like Georgie said, that's why you got to live for the day. Like Georgie was on or something. Yeah. We go to the next scene, and we get Carmela and Tony having this moment. It looks like he's trying to fix the TV for her, but they're actually being civil with one another. They both are talking in hypotheticals because they're both trying to really stand their ground and subtly on where they're coming from, but at the same time, they both know they really want to make this thing happen. What did y'all think about this, and do y'all think that it was necessary for Tess Dream to kind of sow that seed for us? I mean, I guess it's fine.
What seed the Tess Dream?
Remember, he was on the horse.
The very end of the episode.
Yeah, he was in the house. My fault. Oh, well, even the horse. The end of the episode, like Rick said, but even on the horse, like when he was on the horse, and he's like, want to come home. She's like, you can't bring your horse in here, playing on the word horse or whatever. So it was kind of, but again, I guess it's like it's Tony's subconscious. So even in your dream, there's gonna be some truth and some elements of a dream that
but it wasn't ever Tony who was in question. Like he wanted his family back. Like,
okay,
I did have a problem with how quickly Carmela got here. Like we didn't have a lot of on-screen representation as to where Carmela's mindset was. for us to be tapped into this conversations as viewers and being like, oh, well, they're talking about moving back in together. Like, where did that come from?
Mm-hmm.
Like just 2 episodes ago, she was really trying to get the divorce going through.
Mm-hmm.
We never really saw her mind change.
That's a great point. I think what they tried to do, this is my interpretation of it. Tony's whole strategy was to wear on her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm gonna wear on her. It's no different than if you try to sue a rich person, like, they just gonna start throwing money at it to the point where, going back to that whole entourage thing we talked about. Like, there's a moment when Terrence, when it came to Ari getting the settlement paper, he told him, "I'll spend $50 million today
to make sure you don't get 11 million.
I'll spend $50 million over the next 10 years to make sure you don't get a dime today." Like, and some people, if they have the access to it, they'll do that. And I think we saw Tony do that with the whole lawyer situation. I think Carmela realized, like, this is going to be a much bigger situation. And I know we talk about it with her and Meadow all the time. Carmela realized, like, this is as good as, unfortunately, this is as good as it's going to get for me. Like, my best version of life and the things that I want to do, I'm going to have to tolerate him in some space. Mm-hmm. So I need to start opening up the idea of being with him or reconciling with him, mm-hmm. so I can still do some things. And tip my hat off to Carmela, because she's finally learning the game. If we're going to do this, I'm going to get something out of it too. And we'll talk about that later.
Mm-hmm.
She made a G move.
Oh, she made a G move. Yeah. And I'll speak to that a little more, because there was the way I've always interpreted changed this time watching it. But I do agree with Spike as far as we could have used one more moment. Mm-hmm. Like, I think they try to give us like the Rosalie moment thing, but it to me still feels like,
wasn't enough.
Wasn't enough. Like, it was like, why did you say you was getting back to Tony? I don't know.
It would have made sense if it happened right after Wegler. If Wegler was pushed up and pushed on later in the season. So this is episode 12. If that Wegler episode was episode 10, this would make a lot more sense.
Yes.
Because it's not that chance meeting in the hallway wasn't enough for her to feel like, oh, I need to get back with Tony. I can't see that being the thing that sparked her interest. So y'all, Spike, you're right. I don't know what happened, but I think she just realized, like, you know what?
And it goes to one of those things that we talked about frequently on this podcast, as far as the time that passes between each episode. I don't know how long this was, as far as the time from the last episode.
Yeah.
So maybe there was that thing that happened and we seen it, but we're not sure how long ago it was based off the last episode. So it was just strange to me.
So we go into the next scene. Phil Leotardo, he's sitting there. It looks like he's having an espresso. He smoked mini cigarettes of some Marlboros. He has the flashback, and in the flashback we see that animal, Tony Blundetto, starts firing shots. He lands with Phil and Billy. Did he hit Phil?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Phil was at the meeting with the cane.
Okay,
Phil got clipped.
Okay, so he hits Phil and Billy. Billy didn't make it. I feel like that 50 Cent line, that many men line, he got shot like I got shot. But he
ain't fucking real.
Tony B was on that Kendrick shit. Walked him down whole time. I know he had some hoe in him. He walked that nigga down.
Oh man,
he opened up too early though. Shout out to the Wire.
He did.
Like, he opened up
though.
way too early, man. He should have got a little bit more in on him though.
I thought so too.
He could have got both of them. If he took his time.
Yeah, because he had to drop already. Like I don't know. He been at the game too long. Maybe that's what that was, but I don't know.
He was just mad. I think it was that's supposed to show how mad he was. Yeah. As soon as I see him, I'm shooting.
Now, anything y'all want to add to that scene? Spike, you said last week on Test Dream, you strongly dislike.
Nope. This did not do it. I know what your question is, and no, this was cheap. This was like The Sopranos is better than this. Like, y'all gonna show me this. Yeah, y'all gonna show me this and show me this. Show me happen in real time, that way I get to process like everything in my head as a show watcher. It's not. This wasn't sufficient. Like, I don't go back and show me some dream sequence of what happened. I ain't like this at all.
Yeah, it felt anticlimactic.
Because we knew what happened already.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, we didn't get to see the whole build up. We didn't get to see Tony walking up to this and how he dealt with it. Like, no, this did not suffice.
I might have respected it more if they didn't show it at all.
Facts. Just leave it alone.
Yeah,
You
maybe
already
so.
told us what happened.
Maybe so, because it feels very to me. It definitely feel like backpedal game, where y'all, we probably should have put that in because y'all give us this silly Tony Blundetto shooting Phil Leotardo with an air finger, and then now we get the real joint. It's like it stepped on it. Like it was terrible, man. Like if Shotwell looked good, but it was anticlimactic, bro. It really was. Even I think when my first time around watching it, it was like that too. So, but I do like how it was shot as far as Phil doing the flashback because it correlates to Tony's, flashback later. So I give him that. We go to the next scene, little Carmine meeting, and Rusty still wants the beef to keep going until little Carmine is boss, but Carmine said that, that's enough. Like I'm out. Like Billy, that was crazy. What did y'all think about this?
That's what it is when you're in Miami for the whole time. Like when you ain't really about it. I don't know if the little Carmine's ever even been through a war.
Mm-hmm.
Like it knows what it is. Like this is part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta go to the mattresses. You gotta go to the mattresses, but you can't just. you can't just bow out like this, man. I mean, you can.
Yeah.
And I'm
he
sure
didn't really want it like that. I don't think.
But that's what
you should have said
war
that
is.
a long time ago.
No,
right?
I know,
like,
but I think he was
saying, I
selling
don't want
himself.
it like that. Then don't put the hits out on the other people that you put the hits out on. Like, don't act like you want it like that. Don't be talking greasy about Johnny Sack to your homies like just 2-3 episodes ago. Like you never wanted this and you know it. And now when you know this shit getting real, like Rich said, when it's time to go to the mattresses, it's like, oh, I'm gonna bow out. Because I am what everybody thought I was, some rich kid who people been taking care of me all my life, and I'm chilling in Miami acting like a gangster. Like, get out of here, bro.
Yeah.
All I kept thinking about was I kept thinking about Franklin Saint. I don't know if that was season 1 or season 2 when they was trying to go get payback, and he had to pull up on him, and he yelled at Jerome. Yeah, and Jerome was talking about I can't get to his, and Franklin turned around, yo, that's the job, bro. Like this is it. When you go to war, you got to know what comes with it. Anything and everything is on the table. We at war.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't understand what him being so. I don't know, man. Billy, what was that? Like, bro, you got to know there's gonna be there's gonna be some fallen soldiers on both sides, and nobody wants to see fall. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool, like, with you coming with your understanding, but don't be so shocked. That lets me know you ain't built for this. Like, you should never even been in this situation.
Yeah, one would say he ain't never really been through it. One would say, oh, no, but that's
what it was, the lack of understanding in the little Carmine. Like, bro, this is what we doing.
Well,
what
it seemed like
here?
Yeah, because it seemed like you let people gas you, and I think he has a little bit of a daddy issue thing that we talked about a little bit ago with Johnny and him when they was on the golf course before he switched. Kind of the energy of where he was going at first. I think it's something within that acceptance, and I think he let them gas him and champion him until it got real, and it's like, oh, I don't really want to do it. Like your Wire reference, what's your boy Naaman? Say, I don't want it.
Cut that ponytail off.
I don't want it. Yeah, I thought I had your ass. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, and my thing is like if those are decisions you make beforehand. I said it before, I'll say it again. Slim Charles, if it's a lie, then we fight on that lie, but we gotta fight. Like, don't matter who did what to who at this point.
Mm-hmm.
We at war.
Yeah.
Once you win it, you win it. My thing with little Carmine is if you knew you was gonna be like this, if you knew you weren't built for this, then don't even get involved. Just give it over to Johnny Sack. You let people gas you up, like you said, Mo.
Mm-hmm.
Let people gas you up saying, nah, you should be the one. You should be the one. And now he don't want no parts of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It almost seemed, and I don't know for y'all if it seemed kind of different, but like him bringing up Billy versus Angelo, it almost seemed like he would have been like, man, but Angelo, because Angelo was with him.
I think he brought up Billy because Billy wasn't sanctioned. Now it's out of his control. Now it's out of his reach. Like shit is going on that I didn't call, and I don't have any. I think he came to the realization I have zero control over what's going on right now, and I don't even know how to manage all of this. This is overwhelming. It's too much.
Mm-hmm. That's a good pull.
Yeah, I think so.
He finally the realization hit him of, oh, it ain't what I thought it was. It's like this is real shit. Mm-hmm. Like even beyond what I say or think happens as the boss is going to happen. Because gangsters gonna do what gangsters do.
Yeah, because there's a lot of bodies that fell. We got Angelo, Lorraine, Joey Peeps, now Billy Leotardo. It's a lot of bodies right there.
Yeah, because if Joey Peeps, if you hire Tony to get rid of Joey Peeps, you think Johnny's just gonna be on some? Oh, okay, it's all good. Like, nah, bro, you know a body dropping back.
When they go,
So don't be surprised. Yeah. So if it's Angelo, it's Angelo. All right, cool. Now you got other stuff. Carmine's a fucking doofus. That's what it comes down to.
Or as some of the Redditors will say, he's a genius.
Or he could be a genius. We'll get to that, I guess,
Right.
later on.
Yeah.
Maybe towards the finale and stuff. But yeah, you could be right.
I don't know. Yeah.
Carmine's trying to finance Cleaver and all that shit, man. Go make some movies.
Yeah. Go make some drums, nigga. Tony and Seal. Tony and Seal having a conversation. And they talk about Blundetto and now that he's missing.
That animal.
Then Chris walks in and Chris wants to get cute as Tony gets on him, but and then Adriana walks in and he calls her his smelly Valentine. Calling your fiance smelly Valentine is crazy. What did y'all think of, bruh? Right at that? What did y'all think about this, man?
I think it was just a subtle way of Seal bringing to Tony's attention, and only way Seal can do it, or Seal's the only one that can really do it like this. But we don't got to get full into it right now. But I got to bring up the fact that this is something that got to be dealt with. I like your cousin. I know what your cousin means to you, but he really fucked us with this one. And I'm not saying we got to make any moves, but I'm just planting that seed in your head. You know what needs to be done. So I don't want it to be a surprise when I have the full conversation with you. I want to just start laying out the foundation right now. Let you know, man, what he did is something that you can't just apologize for. You got to take action. Just setting us up for that.
Man.
Also, did you get the reference, Chris? You said, "Where the fuck you been? You late?" Highway was jammed with Broken Heroes on the Last Chance Power Drive.
No, I didn't get it.
That's a Bruce Springsteen lyric.
The Stevie
and
Van Zandt.
obviously, yeah, he's a.
I love when they do that.
Guitarist, yeah, that's a Bruce Springsteen. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
And then Tony's saying, like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm having a cocktail. Well, I can't have one, but you just said an episode or two ago, you should have a drink because you getting on my damn nerves. And now he's doing it. He's like, well, what are you doing? I'm like, man, come on, bro. Even though, I mean, maybe he wasn't serious, but still, it's like, I'll talk a little bit more about Chris's like kind of relapse here, like, but I'm not gonna do it here.
Does anybody go ahead, Spike?
I was just gonna say the disgust that Tony had with him for just having a beer at that point when, like you just said a couple episodes ago, he was just telling the nigga to have a drink. And I think this did a good job in showing where Adriana and Chris were at. Like we see the clues here in this scene as to what plays out later when we'll talk about it, to why he made the decision that he made. It's still something in him that ain't bought in, even though Adriana the best thing that probably ever happened to him in his life, as he mentions that. But you still see Tony giving her a lot more compassion than he is. And yeah, it's okay to be funny and break balls, but he's still like, we haven't seen him one time be like, damn, I get her, I understand it, or anything like that. So I thought this scene was very pivotal in that.
Yeah. I think you make a great point because it's just interesting because we see obviously this episode when we get to Carmela and Tony getting back together, and Tony, he's old school, he's old fashioned, you know what I'm saying? And so to see that, like, you know, obviously how things played out is like Chris didn't, and it could speak to the end concept where it's like, oh, well, this is what a new age fiance looks like in the mob when the mob is kind of dying off, so to speak. You know, where it's like you include her in because Carmela knows the vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like if Carmela was picked up on all of this, then she would have first off been told Tony. You know, second off, she would have been feeding him, you know, false information. So it's just all of this because it's like, bro, you should have in some capacity strengthened her in this position. She still felt dolo. Like this wouldn't have been Rosalie. This wouldn't have been Gab. This wouldn't have been, like I said, Carmella.
Do you think, I don't know if we spoke about it before, do you think that any other of the wives would have fell for this like she did, like Adriana did?
Nah. Nope.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
And I think that goes to the scene is how Chris treats her. I think all the other guys treat their wives differently, so they pick up on shit like this versus how Adriana was treated and her being completely naive when the feds are taking advantage of her.
Chris treats A like a Gumar.
Yeah.
And that's probably why Adriana doesn't treat Chris
That's why
with
she
that
fell
same.
for
Yeah, that's why she fell for the Oki though, because that's an easy. Now you into it. You know how it is. Once you start a lie, you got to remember your lie. If she just said this up front, then Chris could have walked her through how to get out of this. Yeah. All right. In worst case scenario, you take a drug charge. You know what I mean? They're probably bullshitting with you on that drug charge anyway. It's probably not as severe as they saying anyway. Just take the charge. We'll take care of you.
Probation. Yeah.
But now it's so far going, like the trust is going. Now I don't even know what you said. You coming to me that what? A year later, however long later with this, like you gotta go. Like it's all bad.
You had a federal agent around us. Like you weren't even open enough to be able, like I think all of the Rosalies and whoever else, Angie's, like those people, like that would have never happened. And if it did, whoever, like the mate would have known immediately. Like it ain't no stringing this shit out.
Yeah.
And the wives don't have habits like that to even bring Fed. Like they wouldn't even been able, the feds wouldn't even been able to bring them in on nothing. The most they could have done is, I want to ask you about your husband. Like you don't got no charges for me to even stick here and say something.
Yep.
Because
like, they had Adriana.
Because Adriana never really had her foot in, and that was the problem. Like she didn't have community, she didn't have village because she never really had her foot in until it was too late. Because Chris, even though he tips toes back and forth between wanting to be an actor or a writer and mob guy, he always had a foot in though. She never did, and that's why she didn't have a support system, or even that's why she could be infiltrated by Danielle. Because you kept trying to get Chris out of it, 2 feet out like she is. But instead, now you didn't got pulled into it, and you don't have the information or the village or relationship with people to be able to come to them first. That's the only reason you got infiltrated, for real. You know, which I don't blame her. Like, ain't nothing wrong with that. But you picked the wrong guy to try to get on the straight and narrow. Like, how many times do I got to tell you, Adrian? I'm a soldier. You know, so and we'll find that out this episode.
You got to know who you dealing with, man, in this game. Like there's once again, not to make another Wire reference, but I remember they tried to build a case against this dude. He was a very small character. They tried to build a case against against Avon. And they thought they had him. Like Kima, all of them thought they had him. And he said, all right, give me the years. They put the 5 to 8. He's like, I'll take the years. So,
give me 5
cool.
years.
Like, it wasn't even nothing. Like they was like, what? You gonna to give me the years? But he knew that's what the game. He knew the game he was in. Like Adriana never did. Otherwise, she'd have just been, all right, man, take it. I'll take whatever you got. Because this is probably bullshit anyway. Once again, this is chess, man. Y'all probably fucking with me anyway. Like y'all just trying to get me to tell them myself. A lot of the job is getting me to tell. If you don't have an informant, then you going fishing. And most people just telling themselves instead of just shutting up.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 quick things about this scene. Have y'all ever heard of anyone refer to a beer as a cocktail?
No.
I haven't either until this show. A beer is a beer. I give it a cocktail.
That's an interesting thing. Yeah,
so weird writing choice.
Yeah, and maybe that's what they do. Like I can't have a cocktail right now. I'm like, it's Heineken, my nigga. The other thing is Adriana got this fucking tiger outfit on that. It made me think of season 1, that fucking song, meow. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, that was the slaps right there. A hit is a hit, you know what I'm saying? That's good.
Hey, Chris came in to beat that nigga with his guitar, man.
Bruh, get back in the studio.
He told that nigga spike up.
Hey, I'm tired of playing around. Spike up. Like, nigga, hey, bro, that is man, bro, if it was us 3 back in those first, nigga, it would have been crazy. We would have had so many moments then too. But man, that's funny. Spike up. That's really good.
I'm sorry. One last thing.
Yeah.
You mentioned about how Tony is a lot more sympathetic to Adriana. Do you find that surprising at all after what happened in the regular Around the Margins?
No, yes. It fits. It fits. Why wouldn't he be sympathetic with her? She didn't do anything.
You're doing too much, bro. Like,
yeah, exactly.
you already thought that
Are you saying
She was
Tony's
giving
doing
me
too
head.
much?
Yeah,
Yes,
Tony's
yeah, you
doing too
doing
much, not
way too
Chris.
much.
Just like the
Don't
fact that
linger.
Chris.
Don't
Yeah.
linger around with my girl after I already thought she was sucking your dick on the way to getting some blow. Like, don't be way. How are you, hun? Like, nah, keep it moving, bro.
Well, it is the thing where like they literally were going to get blow, but once you find out nothing happened, it's like, oh, okay. So then,
No one knows nothing happened though.
well, yeah, but it's over with. Once that's dead to
No,
bed.
it's
Like,
not over. That's what I'm saying.
no, it is over. Like when they saw them at the
You're
dinner.
prolonging it. You're prolonging it when you do this.
No,
Like when you're hanging back and you're asking extra questions.
no, when they seen them at the dinner, that was why they made a big deal of you see them all turning their heads at the dinner, like, oh, okay, so that's dead. Like nobody can bring it up again. It's over with. It's been proved. Nobody's. So I get it. In our world, it's like, all right, bro, look, but in that world, it's semantics. So they like once they seen, oh, he apologized to Vito. Oh, they out with the boss and the boss's wife. It's not lingering. So at this point, we good, and it's proven that nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? So as far as Chris,
It's not proven that
There's
nothing happened.
always, and even if it wasn't, it's just the illusion that's out there, in my opinion, and it's just more so a thing. That's like, I don't know, man. It's like one of your boys texting your girl, and you realize they've been texting back and like, what the fuck is y'all talking about? Like, it ain't even got to be nothing. It doesn't even have to be anything bad. It's just the fact that why are you texting my girl? Like, what are y'all talking about that you like? What? Unless they were friends before, it's just odd, and it makes me question, like, oh, what's going on? Like, why are you like? That's a little bit of a thing, and now they've already got reason. Chris has already had reason to believe something. It's just more of a respect for Chris thing. Like, yo, out of respect to what happened in this same office, let me not just be so friendly. Let me just keep it to the high and by. Sometimes you got to keep it to the high and by.
Yeah, that's true. We go to the next. Yeah, no, I can see that. Either way, it is one of those like lay low. You better lay low.
And I will say, shout out to Whitney Houston.
Shout out to Whitney.
I hear Whitney.
Oh, never mind. But I better go on a whole nother.
But I will say this also. It does say a lot that Chris isn't bothered by it. So it's one of those things like if Chris ain't bothered by it, why should I be?
Yeah.
But it is a little bit odd. If it was me, I'd be like, hey, Tony, man, you ain't got to be like when I leave the room with my girl in there, you leave the room with me.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't got to be because you've already, like I said, it's not like it was regular. You've already violated that trust.
Yeah, that's true.
It was just odd. It doesn't really mean anything.
It is, but that's the thing about irregular around the margins, that if nothing else, how we talked about that episode, that episode helped us believe this moment. There is a rapport, because even though we don't get a ton of, lamenting from Tony, it's one of those things in the universe of Sopranos, you can think about like how Tony felt, which I think in some expressions of how he, had to put the pause on somebody later in this episode, it probably tied into it, but yeah. We go to the next scene. It's the sit down. Man, listen, bro. Like trying to be cordial, because they did it so well from acting, from writing, directing, because it's like, hey, hey Johnny, how you doing? They already know he's boss, or they don't know he's boss yet. And then they see Phil, and they know it's like you better not say how you doing. Like you got to figure out how to tread here, because it was your cousin. They don't know, they don't know where he is. You don't know where he is at this point. You better tread really light, because we get a later whatever happened there moment that, obviously wasn't handled properly. But so much in this scene. I'm going to throw the ball in your court, Rich. This scene is in contention for, obviously, best scene of the episode, obviously.
Absolutely.
What stands out to you in this moment?
First and foremost, the disdain for Chris is still there, right?
Yeah.
I remember when you used to sit in the car, and as far as I'm concerned, you should still be there.
Yeah.
We talk about expression acting a lot on Good Earners.
Mm-hmm.
Another great example. They get there. Tony we've all been in a situation where we had to address something we didn't want to. We knew it's guilty by association, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do it, but I know I'm somewhat responsible because somebody went rogue in my crew.
Mm-hmm.
So now I got to come hat in hands. Like, I don't want to do this, but I have to keep it humble. I got to take whatever's coming to me because I know that I'm in the wrong. Not me per se, but we're responsible for something, and I'm responsible for cleaning it up.
Mm-hmm.
So you got that expression that Tony has, like, all right, I'm coming in here with the humble voice. I'm coming in here with the humble face. And then Tony looks at Chris, because like, it's, we get to this later on in season 6 when there's discussion about who's the top dogs in the Soprano clan, the Soprano crew, right? Mm-hmm. And it's always like, who's that third? And it's almost like Johnny Sack is looking. He sees Chris and he looks at Tony with that face like, I know this motherfucker ain't about to sit at this table. Like, which one of us doesn't fit? It's him. Mm-hmm. So then Chris has a look too, and he's just, all right, man. So no words are said, and Chris just stands up like, all right, I ain't got to sit at the table. Tony lights up a cigarette, and they get right into it, man. Yeah, man, this is a rough situation to be in overall, because Phil ain't going for it, man. Take your fucking stories and stick them up your ass.
Yeah, straight up.
I ain't trying to hear none of that sorry shit, bro. Yeah. My brother died in my arms, bro. You lucky I don't air this bitch out right now.
Right now. Yeah, we got home court advantage. Man. We got home court advantage. Like
and that lets you go. That lets you know, like, if you have honor, respect for this thing, then anything's possible. Because I don't know too many people that's gonna respect that thing enough to not want to put hands on Tony, do something, bro. My brother died in my arms.
I mean, that's
Couldn't even say his last words, man. Fuck out of here, bro. Get these niggas out of here.
Man, you ever had anybody die in your arms, cocksucker?
We'll see if
we family member.
We'll see if we can make that happen for you.
Yeah.
One of the best scenes in this series. Everything that you guys just said, 100%. I think this lays out the path for so much that happens to, like, determines the ending of this show. Like this scene right here. Mm-hmm. How John was acting, yes. How Phil received him. Great pull out, Rich, when you said there, as far as how he looked at Chris even wanting to sit in the tape. This is the glorified Clue look. Like, this is like, y'all not even serious right now. Y'all majorly disrespectful us, bro. And y'all come in here like y'all us. Y'all come in here like wanting to sit down. Like, we ought to kill all y'all in the streets. Mm-hmm. And that's how they approached it. It was so good.
Yeah, they was treating Chris like Baca. Why is he around? Why is he?
Why you even around here? Bro?
Like, nah, for real. Like, Johnny had that look. Like, I don't even know why y'all brought him to. Yeah. Why y'all crossed the bridge with him? He shouldn't even be fuck sitting down at the table. He shouldn't even be at the meeting.
Yeah,
like that lets me know about the status of your crew. If he's the third most trusted person you got, then we should really wipe the floor with all y'all right now.
Johnny says you know what? He's got a right to a lot of things right now. And you got to imagine how he's like, man, I'm telling you, he acted alone, and he's like, oh, the lone gun
theory.
Yeah, and it's like, you imagine how shitty I am as Johnny, because you sat there at the funeral feeding me lies about how that was not your cousin that shot Peeps.
Well, he still don't know the truth to that yet.
Nah, he knows.
But now this is
he knew.
No, he don't know.
He knew last episode. I mean, the episode before last.
He think he know. He don't got no proof though.
Like so Big Pussy said.
This right here.
They know, but they don't.
Like Big Pussy said, they know, but they don't know.
They don't know. Exactly. So this right here, it adds to John's fury and his fuel. So he's like, nah, nigga, you did this. I know you did. I just can't prove it. But he still don't know. That's why they ain't went all out war on him.
And for real, it's Johnny's at the point now, because this is the second body your cousin to drop. So at this point, you got to be. If your cousin is this rogue, and didn't I hear through the grapevine he got promoted? Didn't you get this nigga casino after he dropping niggas in my crew? Like, oh nah, all y'all Jersey niggas got to pay.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Who are
what
y'all?
Does that say? Yeah. That's why. So that whole thing. And Johnny Sack get crazy when he said, "Man, I'll rain down a shit storm on Jersey, bruh." Like and he let it breathe too. Like when he talking about raining down a storm, he let it breathe, and he just looked at him. And then he gives the Chris thing where he's looking at Chris like, we might have to, basically get it back in blood, and get, looking at Chris. And I love Chris's character, because this is consistent with Chris, where we got a lot of things we can say about Chris, but one thing about Chris is like that nigga just he don't care who you are. He might not know assess the situation fully. He may not know what he's all the way up against, but he ain't going. Not without no fight, he ain't. And that's what I always love about the Christopher Moltisanti character, because it's like, oh, I'm supposed to just sit here and let him do that. Like, man, come on, bro.
But I think to Rich's point, like you are right, 100% Mo. But to Rich's point, that's why Johnny Sack and them are looking at him like, this is your 3-man? He don't even got no decorum. He ain't got no tact. Like, I can say anything and he'll wild out in here and we'll be at war. He can't even approach this shit like a gangster. Like, he's a street thug. So everything you just said is 100% correct, but that's why Johnny Sack and them are looking at him like that.
Who should be his 3? His 3rd? At this very moment.
Tell right now. Probably Vito.
Dang, that's
Vito
was there at the other one.
Yeah, probably Vito. Vito making plenty of money. He running, if I'm not mistaken, he running that crew that Richie and
Ralphie.
Your man Ralphie used to run, right?
Yeah.
He running that crew.
Yeah. You might be
got
right.
The construction thing.
Vito should have been the third.
Probably should be 3, yeah.
Dang, shout out to Vito, man.
You need this. He should have, the same way they had the phone conference about the weight. He needed Junior's input here. They needed to have Junior involved in this.
That's a really good point.
Like that had to be that. If I was Tony, that's something I gotta bring up. Like I need you to conference in. Like this is some shit that hit the fan, and we know Junior would have told him like, well, we'll get to that. I think next episode. I think they have a conversation about it, but yeah, it's a rough time for the hierarchy of the Soprano crew.
Yeah. We're done here. We go to the next episode. Go to the next scene, and the black Boy Scouts are pretty much on the beach in full garments.
No, that's what I call my dick.
Black no veto. Nah.
Yeah, man.
But yeah,
little kids. But I just being a badass little kid.
That's on par. Yeah, that's on par. So they see a dead body, and this dead body, we see it without knowing who it was. I don't know why. For some reason, before we get the reveal later from the Crazy Horse, I swear I thought that I was like, "Yo, is this Georgie?" It was just weird for a second, you know. But shout out to the makeup team, because boy, did this look like a real dead body.
Yeah, they did a great job. I'm trying to, not to be too technical, but I'm always trying to figure out how they made it that far up short.
Yeah,
like he on the rocks, like settled in nicely. I'm sure it's possible. They must have had a high tide, but. Shout out to the Sea Scouts, man. I just want to let y'all. Shout out to Sopranos for letting y'all know, man. We do more than just
Black Sea Scouts, right?
Yeah, man, and all that stuff, man. Black Sea Scouts, man.
Nah, I ain't respect it. Y'all got these men out here on the beach with full hoodies and come on, bro.
It's cold, bro.
Yeah, that's what Sea Scouts do. It's cold by the ocean.
It's New Jersey. What are you talking about?
Nah, I ain't like it. I just don't like how they utilize us in the show. I never like it. They never get it.
You don't like that black boys were out on the beach discovering. Like what was wrong with it?
Because it's not like you're like, oh yeah, they rock with us. They're doing they're giving us something. It's just a plot thing to say, hey, just so you can
talking about the right. Okay.
Yeah, just so you can not get 90210 about there's no black people in the show. So it's like, this is a perfect moment. We'll just use it. We need civilians. Let's throw some black people in here so that we can have somebody in the mix. That's they're not. I get it. We don't do that on this show, but it's like I ain't like it. Like, whatever. Like it didn't bother me. Yeah, it didn't bother me. I just didn't care for it. Like I ain't giving you you don't get no props for it for real. We get Tony and Carmela. They're having their own personal sit down. What, man? What?
Nothing.
What I do?
Go ahead.
What did I do?
It's all you, Bo. It's all you. You're doing a great job.
Man. Y'all obviously are in on the same joke because y'all got twin brains. So, but I'll let y'all have it.
Nah, you're doing a great job, man.
Oh, see, look at him. This guy always busting balls. Tony and Carmela, they're doing their own marital sit down, so to speak. They talk over if they were to get back together, and they start really getting some leeway on it. And Tony's trying to come up with a way to get back in there, and then basically she comes up with this figure, $600,000 for a spec house, and she would let him pretty much get some cools on the side, long as it doesn't make it to their house. And Tony said, "Okay, I'm gonna hook it up. I'm gonna get a down payment going." What's the percentage of a down payment you need on a home?
20%.
Oh,
if you ain't in no programs or nothing, if it's just straight up like a transaction with no HUD, no NACA, nothing like that, it's 20%.
What do you think, Tony? What percentage you think Tony paying?
20.
Yeah, he can't get around that.
Ain't no breaks. Yeah, ain't no breaks. Ain't no
And that's for the land, because she building a spec house, which the actual term is short for speculative house. They use that term because it's when somebody buys the land and they're building a house with no specific buyer in mind. Like I just want to build a house and I'm going to sell it. It's not a family house. It's not for us. It's just something I want to do. It's a project I want to take and I want to sell it to somebody. This is how, I'm going to flip my real estate. Most people buy old houses and renovate them. Like, nah, I'm starting this from scratch. That's the pure definition of a spec house, and which is very, when you know that information, I'm surprised. And I guess Tony knew. I can't push back on this because I'm trying to get back in the crib. But if everything was smooth, he would have been like, hey, why don't you just buy an old house? Or why don't you buy some of these old dingy houses in downtown Newark? Let's go ahead and renovate them. By the time gentrification comes, which we'll talk about next season, we'll start talking about, Patsy doing
the little
pickups.
Guys.
Yeah, the little guys and all that stuff. Like, let's try to do something like that. But we've seen Tony make real estate plays like that. Selling. Well, shit, no, we haven't. We'll see it next season too.
Shout out to Maurice.
Kaisha. Shout out to Kaisha. Him selling out, Maurice and all that stuff. But I don't know, man. It's just that was Carmella, man. She on top.
This was disgusting. This was sick. This put her in like
Skylar White.
What's her name? You knew what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You sharing twin brain today too. But yeah, this put her in Skylar White territory as far as like just being open for negotiation about your relationship status in a financial, like a monetary standpoint is crazy.
Oh.
Like she looked really wild right here. It leaned towards all the people who don't like Carmella and saying that she ain't in this for the right reasons. It leaned towards them being right. Like, yeah, she loved her family. Yeah, she loved Tony or whatever it may be. She may be a great homemaker. However, we see that she has a price.
Two things.
And again, going back to my bad, real quick, Rich. Going back to what we were talking about earlier, as far as we didn't get to see her come to this conclusion that she want to get back with Tony, this made it even more transactional.
Yeah.
Like we don't have any emotional tie to her being like, okay, this is the love of my life. This is my husband. I want him to be here or whatever it may be. This is the best I'm going to get. I think as one of you said. This scene right here makes it seem like, okay, I've came to my senses. This is the most money I'm going to be able to make, and the lifestyle that I want to portray or be able to afford is going to come from this man. And here are the transactions that have to go through in order for me to be able to stay here and do this. Like it made her seem like a piece of shit person. This scene did.
This scene.
I'd love to hear from my women followers to see if I'm wrong or right on this too.
Definitely want to hear from the women. I'm not a married man, but this did confirm that marriage is not the lovey-dovey shit that you grew up thinking it is. This is to Spike's point, transactional relationship, a business relationship. It's a partnership. And that's kind of, if you get some love in there, then cool. That's even better. So that's one thing this scene screams to me. I mean, they're trying to go about it subtly, because Tony's even on some like, we can have a kid. You want another kid? Like, nah, I want to buy this house. Tony would have rather had the kid.
Oh yeah.
Straight up. But the second thing I was just going to say real quick is, as soon as Carmella said 600,000, I would have said, you mean 560? You mean 560, right? Like, yeah.
Nigga, do the math.
I'm getting, bro, because Tony petty enough.
Yeah,
I'm not letting that 40,000 go, bro.
But
I'm not letting that go.
She'll never see the 600. I used to be like, bro, that is a crazy bargain. But I realized that's why I asked the percent on the home. She's never gonna see the 600, bro. That was never coming. Like I'm sitting there,
she didn't want the money directly. I don't think.
Well, yeah, but even then, like he's not going to fund 600,000 though. Like it's not going to happen. He'll find anything like, oh, they're saying this is wrong with it. Oh, even if it wasn't what we find out later, he still would find a reason. Like she was never going to get 600,000 in.
Well,
Well,
remember next season, like Tony's not really that interested in her spec house, and some shit go down. Carmela start doing some digging,
remix,
and then that's when he calling Sil like, "Hey man, like make sure she back on this project. I need her to back. I need her occupied with this damn spec house because X, Y, and Z."
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, so it's not really 600,000. It's really 120 grand. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well,
but wait,
minus 40 grand.
It is 600 though, because part of the agreement is like we're getting our family back together. So my thought process is you're gonna be here for the long run. So that 600 gonna have to come out at some point.
But she never was gonna see it though.
No, not her personally, but
that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
The house already getting done.
With the house,
she would see even more than 600. That's what I think that's what she's banking on. She is
banking on, but this is Tony Soprano. That never was gonna happen. You stole from me. Okay, you're never going to get like, that's why I think he kind of ate it, because he started doing the math. But I realized watching this time, I said, oh, it's not really this, it's the 20% that you're talking about to get it started. Let's get a down payment. You talk cash, let's do a down payment or whatever. But one more thing I wanted to say to it, to be honest, I'm not mad at Carmela. She realized like I don't have the reach, I can't get the attorneys. Tony's never going to change. The kids are on their way out the house. Well, at least AJ, and so she knows this is what it is. But she had the conversation already with Meadow. It's like Meadow said, "Have you considered like actually getting it on your own?" And she's like, "Wow, you have the luxury to do that. I got lawyers." Because she pretty much saying, "No, nigga, I'm getting. I need that money." Like that's what she's doing. I'm getting that. Like I don't care. So she knows like this is the best it's gonna get. So I'm not mad at her negotiating tactic, to be honest, because she's still saying, yo, you can get it off, just don't bring it to the crib. You know,
you're right. It's not a bad negotiating tactic. It just made her look like a horrible person.
Well, they're both horrible people. And also
we expect Tony to be a horrible person. We don't expect that from Carmela.
Well, I think we're past that too. Like at this point, like Carmela, and because once we seen her with Wegler, we already knew like, okay. And I think the pool being drained.
Wait. What do you mean? Once we seen her with Wegler,
she used the weapon. Like that whole thing was a finesse. Like you did this to get your son good grades. Like I mean, you know. Anyways, but I think the pool draining was like a metaphor for their marriage. Like I think that was like the last ounce of any possibility of their love to be able to, because the last thing they did in the pool before it was drained. I mean, well, obviously Tony hopped in there after that, but like that was the last time they pretty much consummated, and there was still that real life possibility to get together. Once that pool is drained and then they refill it up, the marriage is not the same, and it speaks to the end at the end concept. Their marriage is even in at the end, whereas marriage looks totally different now. So it's an interesting thing. I've always looked at her funny, but this way, I honestly I don't, because what else? What are you gonna do? But then we get Adriana and Chris pull up, and Tony talks to Chris in the bathroom about how the illegal cigarettes were supposed to be stamped and they weren't.
Great detail by the Sopranos, because we saw that in real time in Regular Around the Margins, where Chris said, "Let them motherfuckers handle that."
Yep.
Send them straight to the stores. Let them take care of it. When he knew that wasn't the order, that was just great writing. Those small details matter in the show.
Yeah. And even then, like tying it back to the crazy horse scene we had this with Tony and Aid, like all that is like it's super layered. Anything else y'all want to add to that?
I just want to say one quick thing before. Tony was so he was so sick that he had to make that negotiation with Carmela.
Oh,
you saw all of his face. Like, this is the last thing I want to do, but I know I got to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you have to reprimand Chris for that, man. This is a big time thing. The feds are on us. That's the number one thing we can't have happen in our business. And we had an easy moneymaker, and because you wanted to be lazy and cut some corners, now that moneymaker can be impacted. So Yeah, we're gonna take money out of your pocket. Since you're the one that caused it, you're the one that's gonna lose the bulk of the money. Paulie's gonna oversee it because Paulie knows what needs to be done. He ain't gonna skip no corners or cut no corners. And obviously Chris is, bruh. Anytime,
Bush.
especially when you hit a certain age, cutting your money is a fucking like you can't just
bro.
nah, man. Like
nah,
nah. So
man.
I understand Chris. Like,
Yeah.
bruh, like I've got a wedding to pay for it. Well, you better cut out the open bar.
And you gotta think Chris has had numerous occasions, like when he shot the dude at the bakery and it made the newspaper. Remember he stole the watches off the UPS truck. You know, there's been, and then there's this. It's like keeps being these things, bro. You keep bringing attention to this thing. Like, we got to keep track of these things we just got to keep track of these things because it changes the perspective on things. And I'm gonna leave it there.
And I think one of the important things for here, as far as the spiraling aspect of Chris's storyline, you see, he got a glass of wine. It was a beer, now it's wine. And then you get the stuff that happens later in the episode, and it's like, well, he went all the way back.
Yeah.
And it just shows how much this is weighing on him.
Very next scene, he got the vodka.
Like I'm like, bro, you let these niggas joke on you. You let these niggas joke on you, and you all the way back relapsed. Come on, bro. I get it. Before listeners, I get it. There's real triggers that put you in a place. I'm putting on, but nonetheless, it's like, bro, come on, dog. Like, you made so much progress that threw you back in because they hit you with a Humvee joke. Like, come on, dog. Yeah, you gotta be stronger than that. What was you gonna say, Rich?
Nothing. I was just that's an eternal joke. Nothing. I never thought of it like that, but you're absolutely right. Because I always look at it as you tell me to go, calm down and have a drink. All right, I'm gonna have a drink then.
Yeah.
I have the Heineken, I'm gonna have the wine, all this stuff, but I don't think that he has overcome way too much.
Yeah.
To kind of let that be the thing. And I'm not the one to say what can trigger someone or not. Obviously,
of course.
I know addiction is a real thing and a disease, but it's just wild to see Chris just go from 0 to 100 like that.
Yeah, they didn't really even
like disappear again.
They just
disappear again.
Yeah, they didn't even come for you like that. Like, it wasn't even like they went to like the gut where it's like, I'm gonna remember that.
I think Chris, and maybe it's a little bit of like, I'm tired of fighting who I am.
It could be, because we're definitely getting Tony getting closer to that too. We get a small scene. The feds are watching. I don't got an ad there.
Nah, you missed the scene.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got it in reverse. Sorry. We get Chris and Adriana at the house, and Chris is still salty about the roast and the favoritism with Blundetto, and Adriana's trying to be supportive to to this murderous fiance of hers. And then we get the famous line that's in Many Saints of Newark. That's the guy, Adriana, my Uncle Tony, the one I'm going to hell for. What did y'all think about this scene? This nigga was mad, and this is great acting. Like, this is just great acting because he was hot.
I would imagine this is the reel they sent in. So I think I discussed it in a regular Around the Margins, but both of them, I was about to say
Drea DiMatteo and Michael Imperioli.
Thank you. They both won Emmys for those 2 episodes. And those are the episodes they won the Emmy for this year. And it's incredible acting from them. Incredible job, incredible performance. Yeah, absolutely. And you just see you see Chris just spiraling out. Like, I don't know if anybody's ever been around someone who's just at their limit and just like kind of saw them just let it all fly out. And it's just one of them things you got to sit back like, yo, man, I don't even know what to say. Adriana, like, she crying. She don't know what to say to him. Like, Chris is really out of here. Like, he really talking crazy. Like, one of those, like, has anybody ever seen someone on Facebook, like somebody you know and like are cool with, you got their phone number, and you just see one of them rants? Like, one of them rants that make you want to text them, like, hey, you cool? You all right?
Hey, bro.
Like, Yeah, like it's some wild shit.
Yeah, this definitely was that.
Do y'all think Chris was right or wrong?
Maybe I need time to think.
That was good. You ever thought about that?
Chris was, in regard to I say Chris was validated in his feeling mainly because I think what this all triggered from was the Tony B thing. Like we've seen Chris get mad about Tony's decisions and things like that. I think it came down because like Tony made a unforgivable sin in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Like he caused something that could cost all of us our lives. Yet Tony told me in that bathroom that he's got to think about what he's got to do. What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, what is there to think about? That's why Sid was laying that seed earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like your cousin and all, but he really fucked us with this. Like everybody knows what needs to happen. We just waiting to see if you got the, because of who it is, whether you're gonna step up and do it. And Chris is on some, bro. If that was me, you would have easily just gave me up. You would have gave up anybody else. Like you were a selfish dude. Mm-hmm. So what is so good about this dude that always teases me and makes fun of me? Y'all always do this gang up shit, and he gets this golden pass where it could put us in danger.
He was validated in his feelings is a great answer from someone who's probably been through therapy before. Like that's one of them answers we like that's good. That's good. But yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. And Adriana, again, just not understanding her fiance. Like she's getting teary-eyed. She's like, I don't like when you're like this and stuff because she fell in love with the Christopher that had ambition and goals and dreams outside of the mob and hoping the bad boy goes clean. We see in season 1 that he had that idea. It's like, hey, they say I can even play myself. I could sell my life like on film. And so it's like she clearly fell in love with this, whatever she believes is a civilian version of Chris. And she's like, I don't like when you like this, but like this is who he is. He's been telling you this for so long. Like he smacks you. I mean, there's so many numerous occasions of abuse that is happening, but I mean, I know this happens in people in relationship that happens, but it's been the writing has been on the wall and I don't know. It's
no, you're right.
It's just been 100%. There. Like I still always think about when he smacked her in front of Bevilacqua and Sean. Like I'm like, bro, yeah, go make my dinner. And then she smacked him back. Like, bro, it's like, yeah, go make my bro, that was crazy. But yeah, like I said, we get that famous line or whatever. But I do like it though. This is really good.
And scene. To think, again, we say this all the time on the show, but to think that she's been around this her whole life and still is this green about like everything that's going on is crazy.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a person that they base this off of. You know how you get those like YouTube like mini docs where somebody say this character is based off. I wonder if there's something out there. If there is, listeners, hit us up. Then we get the scene that I was talking about. Feds are pretty much watching. It's a little brief, visual of them watching or whatever. Tony's at the hospital and he visits Valentina. And pretty much he just tells her like, yo, I was actually ready to get up out of there. And then here we go with the classic side chick gets confused at what the status is. This always happens. And now she wants to play like she was going to be the prize and it's not happening. He's up front with her. And then Tony calls Sil to have his phone tapped. Very, very good nugget right there. Anything else y'all want to add to this thing? Yeah.
I'm sorry. My fault. Just, yeah, absolutely. We gotta talk about Valentina.
Okay.
Tony is the worst type of nigga ever, bro.
Why is this? Why?
Because he knows the trash he's about to be on. And he starts it off with the joke. Like first he walks in, she don't see him. He doing the like, well, hey, like I'm here. And then he's trying to tell her, like, you look good with the short hair. You look like that one actress. He never says a name. Notice he never says a name. So that lets you know he bullshitting. And then he hits her with it, man. Like, I'm here to drop you off, but I can't stay. Like, why not? And he takes that sit down.
Yeah.
Just lets her know. And we talked about it last week, but regardless of being burned or not, like, I'm sorry this happened to you. And Tony even told her this could have just as easily happened if you were cooking yourself something to eat.
Mm-hmm.
I was breaking up with you regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was breaking up with you regardless. I'm sorry. Like like I said, I have a right to say I'm upset because now I got to pay for this shit, just out of pure guilt. I didn't do anything. I didn't burn you. I didn't push you into the stove. I didn't do none of that shit. You just happened to be there. I just happened to be there when it happened. Since I'm I don't want to say a stand-up guy because that's not the term. Since I'm not the, like I got the money, so I might as well take care of it just as a parting gift to you. She just hot, man. You no pun intended.
Oh, she definitely hot.
But you motherfucker, like I almost burned myself.
It's lit.
Hey, and what the most interesting thing about this scene though, you stupid as hell for that.
This girl is on fire. All right, sorry.
He told her to go back to her wife, but we know what happened between him and Gloria. And she said, I'm gonna kill myself. And this nigga with the stone cold face said, I gotta take this. Saying I gotta take this after you dealt with a woman who really did commit suicide and another woman saying I will kill myself.
Yeah.
And you look at her with the dead serious face on the ring of phone and say, yeah, I gotta take this. Like that's man, that's some wild shit. Tony a wild motherfucker.
He got limitations.
That's a great pull.
He got limitations.
No, that's I think that's great because
it is.
We always talk about it in the show coming in on the end of things. Like you said, Rich, I've dealt with this twice, bro. One of them actually did kill herself, and the other chick, the Russian chick, is like, I don't even know what happened with her, but she said she was gonna kill herself too. Like I didn't got one too many of these.
Yeah, Irina,
like, yeah, Irina even said that. So it's like I'm immune to this now. That I'm gonna kill myself. Shit, I done been through that before, so it don't even matter. Like you here at the end of things.
Imagine that as an ego thing though. Like, ain't that crazy though? It's like, damn, they really own the boy for real. Like,
I'm surprised Tony didn't say, "Hey, let me know if you're gonna do that before I pay these bills."
Yeah.
I mean, but can you imagine, bro? Never mind.
I know you're going.
No.
Come on, bro.
Don't.
Never mind.
This shit got dark.
I'm sorry. Never mind.
Don't do it, man.
The listeners know where I'm going.
I know exactly where you're going. Man.
Everybody knew. Everybody knew.
Okay, cool. Oh man. So yeah, but he gets out of there. Like, look, this is it. Like, I was gonna break up with you last time before fire, but I had to go ahead and do that. Now that you good, we going our separate ways. And it lasted for a little grip. I mean, Ralph Cifaretto was still alive. You know what I mean? When they started getting active, so it's been a grip. Anything else you want to add to that scene though?
You a wild boy, Mo.
Nah, that's crazy. Crazy blow to your self-esteem. Okay. So Blundetto calls Tony, and then he just leaves it. He don't say anything. Look, it's crazy.
I be laughing at Spike, man. Me and Spike be having them unspoken moments.
Yeah. I definitely like locked in for sure. Oh man. We get the feds pick up Adriana as she was getting her
Blundetto calling was weak before you moved past it.
It was.
All this week. Like, bro, what are you doing?
He just really don't get it, bro. And we'll get to a later scene was like, nigga, what are you doing? But is this the same day? Because the feds pick up Adriana and it looked like she got on leopard or some kind of, I don't know what that is. Like, are they trying to, is this like a theme or something that's going on? Because it looked like she got like a white leopard version or something, or like a white tiger version of what she had on before.
She always wearing them, you know, them outfits that the Power Rangers wear when they ain't in the suits, just to let you know what color they are. Adriana always wears some shit like that.
She kind of do. So I guess what y'all tell us what the symbolism is. Like cat, rat. I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't even think there is, man.
I just think it's her dress.
That's how she dressed.
I'm gonna be all the way real with y'all. It's always more with the Sopranos. I've listened to pods and they get into it. I just don't remember. It's been so long since I've listened to another Soprano podcast, but it's something. I may go back and I'll hit y'all in the text chain.
But I think that's part of David Chase's point, though. That it's all a big nothing. I think there was an episode specifically where the theme was like sometimes people find stuff that ain't there.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could just be as simple as,
Yeah, either it has meaning or it has no meaning.
Yeah.
We go to the next scene and Tony is moving back in. He gets his stuff. He tells AJ, "Hey, yo, help me with these bags. Well, you want me to take them? Take them upstairs." And then after all of that, they sit down, they do a dinner, and they're, trying to get their, footing back into the game. And AJ, for the first time, does something useful. Well, let's say second time. Marco Polo helping his dad throw his mom into the pool to break the ice. But also right here, he just said, "Bro, this is weird. I'm telling y'all right now, this is off." And it was good because it was another icebreaker that actually I felt propelled this whole situation forward. And also I want to acknowledge that, like, again, when I talk about the pool being drained, their relationship being drained, I also look at the Soprano house being dark. Like, moving forward, things are just going to be dark, in the relationship and everything else connected to it. Anything
aesthetically, you mean, right? Just so the listeners know, you mean aesthetically.
Well, aesthetically.
Yeah.
And others. What do y'all think about the scene? What are some things that stood out to y'all with Tony back at the crib now?
Just the awkwardness of being home after you've been separated. This is something I personally am going through.
Mm-hmm.
Like with my parents, like do the split and then do the get back together thing. And just that, you know what I mean? Like it's just, it is weird. Like AJ said, it can be weird. You need something like, all right, let's celebrate. Let's do something to kind of, you learn this now to Spike's point. You go through therapy, you go through things. You learn it's much easier just to acknowledge it and just kind of get that out the way. All right, here we are. So Tony popping the champagne obviously was a great moment, and just giving the great toast to his family. Nothing else matters. The whole nine. Telling AJ you got to savor the things in life. All of that was great.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this was a great symbolization of, like, it is what it is, and everybody has came to accept that. Like, it ain't gonna get no probably better than this, and it ain't gonna. Hopefully, it doesn't get any worse than this. The worst is behind us. We've as adults had the conversation of what we expect out of each other to move forward and for this to be productive. That's why it was weird for AJ, because he's not an adult. So him saying it's weird made plenty of sense for Carm and for Tony as adults moving forward with everything that we've built. This makes the most sense to us. So yeah, it's going to be awkward in the beginning. Yeah, like whatever it may be, we need to do to get AJ back acclimated. But I do think that it was shot well. This was done very well in the sense of getting through that awkward period where we ain't got to live it out through a dream episode or them do too much for it and us not care as viewers. Yeah, like this was perfect as far as them like, yeah, it's weird. It happens. All right, let's move on from here because there's a lot of other shit going on.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that he let AJ drink the champagne too.
He had some wine right there, too. If you look back at his plate, he had a glass of wine in front of his plate.
Does he?
I thought that was don't know if it's grape juice in a wine glass, but
I definitely thought it was.
It's definitely a wine. It's well, maybe they put grape juice or Kool-Aid in a wine glass, but he got a wine glass in front of his plate.
Okay. But it's funny because Carmela was so cool with it. Like with him like speaking that language, she was cool with it, and they pieced it up and they figured it out. Yeah, I enjoyed the scene. I enjoyed that it's a real time thing. It's like, look, let's figure out how to loosen this thing up. A reference to Entourage when Johnny and Vince were kicking it together. When they were kicking it together, it was just like they was like, oh, there's no TV. Let's have a conversation. They didn't know what to talk about. Hey man, you want to get lit? You want to smoke? Like, oh yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's figure out a way to break this awkwardness. And you know. So it kind of reminds me that, like, okay, let's figure out how to break this awkwardness so we can get back in the flow of things. And this is definitely art imitates life, life imitates art, because definitely been in this situation before. It's like, it's been a while. We ain't kicked it. You're a different person now. I'm a different person now. How can we figure out how to click it up? You know what I'm saying? So really good scene. We go to the next scene. Well, that's one thing I wanted to add. What was that look that Carmela did at the end? She was doing the dishes and Tony was sitting down watching the TV, and she had this like weird look that I did not know how to read. It was like
Spike just said it.
What was that?
This is it. Hopefully it don't get no worse, but this is it. This is the bed. Now I've proactively chosen this life. I see Tony on the same couch, eating the same ice cream, watching the same movie, doing the same shit. In retrospect, you can look at it and Carmelo was probably thinking, this nigga's the same person.
Mm-hmm.
Still the same person. Ain't nothing really changed. She's just back home. Now I've got something out of it with the spec house, but
mm-hmm.
I had my time away from him. Usually when somebody enters the house back, it's a glee, like a sign of relief, like, oh, I got my marriage back. But now it's just like, all right, well, this is it. This is it. This is how we're gonna ride it out.
Great point.
Like, you know what I mean? That's how I always took that look, because it was a blank expression.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't happy. She wasn't sad.
This is life. What it is.
Yeah, this is life.
Well said.
Dang, we're definitely getting into the it is what it is, or yeah. The feds, they have aid. And pretty much they pull up the same footage from the beginning of the episode. And if they didn't have nothing for real on her, they definitely got her now. And she tells all the information about Matouche. And they're the only thing I wanted to ask, are they alluding to like terrorism angle with this Matouche thing because of the religious aspect of it?
They've been doing that a lot. They post. We got to remember, like, those first few years after 9/11, everything was terrorist based. This jacket is even this bedazzled white tiger jacket is even more disgusting in a close up.
Yeah.
It's just sick. Yeah, it's nasty. It's like, take that shit off, man. Take that monkey shit off. You embarrassing us.
Mo said, yeah, like he was surprised by it.
I thought it was I mean, for Adriana.
Right, bro.
That's crazy.
Every time I look at scenes like this, I just think to myself, like, how did Chris never, ever, ever sit Adriana down one day? Some years ago, how did he never, ever sit her down and just say, hey, in case of a scenario you get picked up by the feds or the police, ask them niggas if you under arrest. If you're not under arrest, if they're not placing you under arrest, don't say shit, call for a lawyer, and get the fuck up out of there. Like, Adriana is not under arrest. She don't have to answer none of these questions. Like, it just boggles my mind how you are associated in this life. And I'm not even putting it all on Adriana. Like, Chris, that's your responsibility too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This would never been Carmela, bro.
I think just because Carmela's smarter than her, though. Like, it's insane to process that she's going through this and she should know better, but she doesn't. They don't have any information before she walks into that room other than that tape. And I agree with Rich. Like, yeah, it's a lot of it is on Chris in the sense of, like, bro, she should know better than this. Like, if she gonna be involved with y'all involved in, like, she should be able to handle herself better than this. And the fact that she doesn't and spills all that information, like, listening to her tell them this and she ain't even told Christopher this, how is that possible? How is it possible that y'all murdered somebody in a club that I bought you and you know what I do for a living and you didn't tell me, but you gonna tell it to the feds? Like, who you feel comfortable in that room with talking to?
That's the issue.
How is that possible?
You're more comfortable of going to jail than you are going home knowing
then what I would do to you if I knew this exact at great point, Mo.
Yep.
Like, how would you tell them that before you told me this?
Like dude said, man, do you really think we got you in here because we don't know what's in that garbage bag? Like, come on, man. Like, what you think you here for? Stop playing. Like, this is ridiculous.
Dude's tired of it. He's sick of it.
I think there's, you know what, and there's probably somebody out there listening that's making the argument.
To your point, real quick though, Rich, to your point, prove to me you know what you got in that garbage bag. Like, y'all got to prove that to me. I've been coached up and trained up enough if Christopher has done his job to, like, I don't know that y'all know what was in that bag. All I know is y'all looking at videotape. That's all I know.
And Spike, to your point, even if you got what's in it right, hey, I don't know what bag you grabbed. That ain't the bag I threw away.
That ain't the one I threw away.
Y'all don't know shit.
I had documents in my bag. I don't know where y'all got the other bag.
I don't know who brought that out. That's different right there. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying that bag didn't exist. I'm just saying that wasn't the bag I had. I don't know what that.
I ain't had nothing to do with it. And the fact
I don't know nothing about nothing.
The fact that she let Matouche and my other guy manipulate her to pull this off without telling Chris is crazy.
That's insane.
That's insane. That's worse than cheating on Chris.
She's scared of Chris more
like
than
you
the
letting
feds.
them pull.
That's what that means. She's scared of Chris more than
you
the
let
feds.
them convince you for this shit to go down without telling me, and you know what I do.
But look, even then, when they did it, she still wasn't like, her reaction wasn't like, "Oh my God, what is?"
Because she know what Chris do.
Oh, well, that's the issue. So then, why is the whole time, bruh? Because like I'm looking at it like waiting for the like being mind blown, but she's not. She's more like nervous and this and that, bruh.
People are out of this situation. Real quick, the best way out of this situation was for her to tell Chris, but she told the feds first. Why? That was crazy.
She probably was too deep in Fed territory now. Like if I do that, I gotta go.
I was just about to say the reason is because people are scared to take those little L's. They're scared to take the small L's. All they think about is the big L. Like you got to take the small L sometimes. You already fucked up. You fucked up because you knew Chris didn't want them in your club. And you let him in your office of all places, a place that you know we do business. You know Chris ain't going to like that, so you scared. But you got to take that L to avoid this L. You got to just man up, or not man up or whatever, adult up, whatever you want to call it, and tell Chris, yo, I know you don't fuck with them. I know you told him you don't like him in the club. He came to me on he needed to use a fax machine. I said it was cool. Next thing I know, I go to the office. He got a dead body on the floor. I know I fucked up by letting him back there, but this is an issue. How you want to handle this? What you want me to do? That's how you handle that. I'll take care of Chris. Like, we'll do that. We'll handle that.
Yeah. And see, the thing is, in season 3, Jackie Jr. was trying to set up a play to get drugs sold in there. Not going. So then how does Adriana all of a sudden have this setup where Matouche sells drugs, but he doesn't do them anymore through your business? Where they do that at? Where'd that come from? That's the part I was like, okay, what is this? So I don't know. It was something I found interesting. I don't know. It's just like, where did this come from? Yeah, that's
and she talking about some. Yeah, he sends money back home to.
That's just because he wanted to use his drugs, though. That's just he was giving her free X. That was what was going on.
She was trying to help with her condition.
Yeah, remember he gave her something, and even on top of that, bro, like Matouche, you ain't had to kill, bro.
Yeah, y'all was wild.
You already cracked him over the head. Like, yeah, you could have held him down, done whatever you need to. You didn't have to actually kill him. You might even have to poke him once. Like, just give him a little stab in the side, man, and then like tell him to calm down. Like, he'll get the point. He'll get the point. You ain't got to go all the way in.
All right, them niggas said Happy Thanksgiving. For real.
Yeah, them niggas went crazy.
They say remind you of another scene, but I ain't gonna spoil nothing.
Yeah, man. And then she up here still gullible, talking about some, he's not a bad person. He don't do drugs no more. He just deals it. Every month he sends money home to his family in Pakistan.
She just has no logic.
His brother runs a prep school. Like, what are you talking about?
You know way too much. Like, why the fuck do you even know
it? Doesn't even...
Some place for young boys. Yeah, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, imagine if she was telling Chris all this. Like, what?
What? He just murdered somebody in your place of business, dude. What are you talking about?
That really impressed me.
She is something else. She's something else. Shouts out to A. We go to the next scene. Tony and Carmela, they're up in the bedroom, they're in the closet, and they're kind of doing a little flirty thing, trying to, Tony trying to consummate, trying to bring this joint together. And then I don't know what this means, what it is, but him kissing her out of sight into the closet is wild to me. I don't know why, but it was just like, what is that? Like,
that's his girl, man. Miss his wife.
Yeah, but damn, like kissing her out into the all the way into the clothes area, bro.
That's passion.
You heard Janet Jackson. Anytime, any place.
That's passion.
Carmela definitely.
Tony happy to be there. He happy to be there. He's trying to let her know.
He's happy to. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
You seen how he was living at Olivia's house? Disgusting, filth. Like,
yeah,
nah,
he's
man, I'm
filthy.
back.
He was an animal. I mean, and in comparison to Valentina, look pretty good right now.
Next scene.
Mr. Take It Too Far.
I've been, y'all understand, I've been holding back things that is taking it too far, but all right, next scene. That's funny, Spike. Scene. All right, I like that. That's good. Chris gets a call and takes a drink. I didn't have much to add. I'm sure it's something essential. I just didn't have nothing to
Very
add to.
subtle. Very subtle. Very subtle. As far as every scene, he taking a drink. Every scene we showing that he back. There's not been a scene in this episode where he ain't had a drink in his hand. And it went from I don't have drinks at all to every scene I'm drinking.
Yeah,
very subtle. I love it.
You're right. That's a good point. I mean, that's I'd imagine that's definitely how addiction works. Where it's like, are you thinking?
It gradually goes up. It goes from a beer to a wine to now I'm having a vodka shot.
Vodka, yeah. Then we're gonna go to the next. Yeah, yeah. That's good. That's good, Spike. We get back to the feds and Adriana's in the bathroom. We find out that she's been there for 8 hours, and the only thing that got me is like the fact that she put her purse on the bathroom floor is just nasty work to me. It's like, dang, Adriana, like you really are all looks. Like there's like, I don't know, it's just like.
That's funny when you know stuff like that. Like when you know that women are not supposed to do that, and you see a woman do that, it's funny how disgusting they look to you. You're like, she put a purse on the floor.
Man, you ain't got no
what
standards.
Are you doing?
Like, what are we, baby?
You ain't got no decorum. Being in the bathroom for 8 hours is crazy too.
You think she's been in the bathroom for 8 hours?
I mean, 40 minutes. 40 minutes. 40 minutes. I'm sorry.
40 minutes is wild. I'm definitely. I know that's like a meme where men linger in the bathroom. Just because they be
40 minutes is 40 minutes in a public bathroom is insane.
That you ain't gonna get if you
in a public bathroom.
But if you live with a woman, you ain't getting that off in 40 minutes in the bathroom, bro. They
come. Maybe you going there before she wake up.
Yeah, exactly. But she opening the door on you, like trust me, ain't no knocking, ain't no you all right. She opening the door and like, what you doing? Like for sure. But yeah, 40 minutes is crazy. But the agent, I would say that the agent's really good to me, like how she floats back and forth between like the sympathy and the sternness. Like she's really good. This actress did a great job of giving us all of that to me. I really like her. I really like her as far as her abilities. Anything else y'all want to add to this Adriana scene with the federal agent? Okay. We get a contrasting scene. Tony's outside. He's smoking a cigar. And again, he's outside and it's like the saturation is gone, which I think still speaks to the relationship being back home. It's not the same. It's not colorful like it was on Marco Polo. It's not beautiful. It's this very saturated, dried out, almost like their relationship, almost like where he is right now as boss. And he's smoking a cigar. He flashed back to him and Tony B laughing. Then he flashed back to them being young boys. Obviously, it's a contrast to the earlier Phil Leotardo, kind of flashback or whatever. Anything I want to add to this scene?
No, I think this was more about Tony B than him being home, though. I think that he feel like part of smoking a cigar, sitting in the backyard chilling. People that smoke cigars, I always say this, man, you got to find time to smoke cigars because it's throughout your hectic day of life. Like it don't give you as much pleasure as when you got, I can just take a breath and smoke a cigar. Him sitting back there smoking the cigar is like, I got my family back. I'm back home. However, to your point, Mo, it's still like, I still got this looming shit over my head with my cousin, the person that I love, and I've been through all this shit with that I have to figure out. So I can smoke a cigar because I've solved one problem, but I also have this looming problem ahead.
Yeah. And it's crazy in comparison to when he was at Uncle Pat smoking a cigar, smiling,
Exactly.
Obviously that's before the whack. So Yeah. The feds found a new angle with bringing Chris in on the flip. I guess Adriana saying that Chris was really upset with Tony, so she think that she could bring him in. Again, not understanding that he's a soldier. I don't know. I just thought the only thing I would say is I just thought it was crazy how no matter what, if Chris flipped or not, she's going down, nigga. Like you're accessory. So I never really paid attention to this part because of everything that transpires, but it's ridiculous. Like, dang, you are in a full blown desperation now. Like if you ever had a moment for logic, it's over with now because you're definitely going to prison. Like you're accessory, you're definitely going now.
Who?
Adriana. Because of
no, I think
Matouche.
she thought that they were going to give her witness protection with Chris. If Chris were to turn on Tony, then we'll get witness protection. I won't have to do no time. Y'all will take the information that I'm giving y'all, and me and Chris can go live happily ever after under other aliases. That's what she thought.
No,
she didn't think that she was doing time.
No. I'm saying that's what I'm saying. She definitely thought that, which drove her decision. But I'm saying if she doesn't get Chris to do this now more than before, you're definitely going down, dude. Like, because now you're an accessory. That's why I never really caught and paid attention. I'm like, no, you have to get Chris to do this because if not, you're for sure going to prison. You know, so I don't know. It was just crazy to me. I'm like, dang, now you for real. They got you for real. Now they got you dead to rights versus before they got you on the petty.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Boys and girls out there listening, if you ever get picked up, free game, free piece of advice, shut the fuck up.
Facts. Make them figure it out. Make them do their job. You got to do your job, bro.
That's poetic.
And I don't know. I literally don't know. I don't understand. Maybe it's the pressure. I don't understand what it is in people that just want them to just start talking. Like literally, it would just. I would not say a word. Like if y'all want to sit here and talk my head off, y'all can. You want to tell me what you found and what you got? Cool. You can say all that shit. I'm not. You ain't getting it out of me.
I think people feel like they look more guilty. Just generally people, even though it's the other way around. I think people feel they look more guilty not saying anything than saying anything to control the narrative that I'm not guilty. And I think that's
like Chris Rock. Like Chris Rock said, y'all want me to look innocent in jail. I'd rather look guilty at the mall.
Facts.
You feel me? Like you don't fuck about looking guilty at nigga. I'm not saying shit. I'm gonna pay the people. Think? Yeah, man.
I've paid lawyers to help me out in this situation. Like, no, I don't give a fuck what y'all think. I don't give a fuck if you think that I did it. Can you prove it? Don't matter what you think. Like when we go to these courts and we talk to these people, can you prove what you think that I done? Other than that, I ain't got nothing to say to you, and you ain't got to talk to me.
And a lot of times people feel like they did something and they got caught on it, and they's like, damn, I didn't cover all my tracks like I should have.
Show me, nigga.
I'm just saying I think this is how people think. It's like, even though it's like, damn, maybe they do got it because I didn't like when we had a house. Look, listen to this. When we had a house fire as teenagers, me and my sister, we got out of the house and the house caught on fire. It was way out of pocket. Like it was a fireman, the head chief of the firemen, and he kept questioning us, saying, "Hey, you guys sure you had nothing to do with it?" And we was like, bro, we had nothing to do with it. We came home. It ended up being like an electrical fire, but he was gassing it so crazy. We started second guessing ourselves, like, mate, did we miss something? Did we plug up a stereo, our video game, or this or that? Because he was pushing it so hard. Okay, if we find out otherwise, it's gonna be a big problem. We just like, and we're teenagers, like he talking to us like. So it's like I can see where people make that mistake. I'm not saying that it's the right move. I'm just saying that I know that everybody's mind doesn't go immediately to shut up, don't say anything.
Yes, you're right. I can see what people make the mistake. You're 100% right in what you're saying.
But definitely, I think y'all.
But the word of advice that we're giving to people is, in order to not make that mistake, shut the fuck up. Because their job is to convince you that you did something wrong.
Now I do that with doctors. Now I definitely do that with doctors.
No, that's different. You need to tell him everything.
No, tell him what's going on, but don't try to diagnose yourself.
No, don't diagnose yourself,
like,
but let
people
him know
do that
everything.
too much. Like, I think it's
people
this.
lie to their doctors, and they
That's
shouldn't
what
do
I'm
that.
saying.
Like your doctor needs to know all the absolute truth. The cops do not.
No.
Cops need to figure out what they can figure out on their own.
Yeah,
my
that's
doctor, I'm telling you everything, my nigga, because I want to know what's going on.
I did have a couple
Cops,
drinks of this.
You need to figure it out, my guy.
Yeah, but don't WebMD them. Like, you trying to
tell
them.
No, not that.
People do that all the time. Like, I looked it up. They say it might be Crohn's or it might be a stomach.
You don't want to do none of that.
I tell people, stop doing that. Let them do their job. So fall back on that part, what you trying to self-diagnose because of your symptoms. So that's the part I mean.
It's an interesting example that you give, because the doctor is going to ask the right questions to figure out, based off their training, what they need to figure out to diagnose you. Just like a cop is going to ask the right questions based on their training to convict you of what they're trying to convict you of. They ain't asking questions to get you off. They're asking questions to further implicate you on whatever they think
good
that you
like
done.
That too. Boy, they're good.
Facts. Like, so with a doctor, the only difference with a doctor and a cop is you want to be as truthful as you can with the doctor, because yes, nigga, I know you're trying to figure out to help me. With a cop, you're trying to figure out to help you.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to do your job, bro. I ain't giving you all the information.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Mike had a moment like that when he was talking to Bunk.
Yeah.
Why? I'm like, y'all the cops. Nigga,
you tell me, nigga.
Yeah,
what happened? Yeah. I don't know what you asking me. You know.
Tony gets a call at the Bing. Little Carmine is out. Johnny is now the boss. Paulie gets hot about it. And obviously this is because Johnny played
He's
him.
Dead.
Bro, he hot. He hot because, like, once you found out Johnny played him, he forever, like, it's up. I'll speak to that later in season 6. Anything else y'all want to add to the scene? They talk about his ego growing from being boss now and all that. Anything else y'all want to add to this scene?
Shout out to Ray at the card table. Yeah, but nah, man, it just goes once again to the same thing. Getting in at the end, just reminiscing, man. There would have been a time when John was the boss, would have been great for us. Just kind of reminding us, man, this shit changed between New York and Jersey.
Yeah.
We a long way from Johnny sticking his beak in.
Oh, man, straight up.
Shitting on the toilet, giving his opinion.
Yeah, you're right.
Taking a piss on the toilet.
Goodness gracious.
I'd have shot that nigga straight up in his kneecap. I wouldn't have killed him. But I'd have shot that nigga in his kneecap. Man. Stop fucking playing with me, bro.
That's funny. Shot him in the kneecap is crazy.
It's still hilarious, man.
It is,
the fact that he may have been pissing right there was.
Yeah, I literally just took a seat because I wanted to smoke this cig. I ain't want to stand up pissing doing this.
Having your cheeks out to have a smoke a cig is like, come on,
he wild, man.
We ain't gonna rehash
talking
that.
Talking to me while you sitting there. It's crazy.
Bro, I don't even remember which episode that was. That's definitely season 4 though. Y'all gotta go find it. But that's one of the gems. If y'all like the email bit that we did, y'all should definitely hear the Johnny Sack bit on the toilet.
Never speak to me while you're using the restroom, my nigga. We can wait.
Yeah,
I don't want to. I don't like. Never speak to me while you're using the restroom.
No, I got body parts out. When my body parts are out, when they're normally hidden, don't talk to me.
I hate when people come up to you in the red letter, do the little head, and like, bro, I'm pissing, bro. Like,
nothing. Give me nothing.
Just look straight forward ahead, bro. Like, there's nothing that I want to talk about right now.
Yeah. We get Chris and Adriana, and here we are. This is the scene that was submitted, right, Rich?
I'm not sure which actual scene was submitted. I'd imagine it'd be this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think this one more so than the what if I need some time to think? I think it was this one.
I think it was this one because I at one point Drea DiMatteo was reviewing Sopranos with a partner, and then of course talking Sopranos. But I think they had talked about this, and I've heard great stories about Drea DiMatteo was like when he would put his hands around her throat, like she would lean even more into his hands, and she would just really sell it from a facial standpoint where she was like I don't know if she was holding her breath, but she was selling it like all the way. Like even when she would get dragged out, they would have additional hair attached to her hair because she would like obviously kick her feet to make it look like he really dragged. Like she was committed to the role for sure. And Michael Imperioli, obviously he never felt comfortable with it, but she told him, "Go there. I'm okay. I'm good. You got it. Don't worry about me. I'm okay." And once they both just went there, you get scenes like this. Bruh, she starts to tell him piece by piece. Basically, she's been working with the feds. Her friend, as you met last year, Danielle, when he kept saying something's off with that girl, and then like the way Michael Imperioli is just looking like processing it all. Like, wait a minute, we had this nigga at Tony's house. We had her at Tony's house. He started putting everything together, and it's like you could tell like a flurry of things came, and he was top tier heated. Punches her, puts his hand on her throat, damn near kills her before he snaps out of it. And then he starts crying. And which is to me felt so real because it's like, nigga, he's like, what are we gonna do? Because it's like, bro, you don't even begin to understand. I was just amongst Johnny Sacknell. How I'm about to look and what this could mean. I tried to kill Tony Soprano at the bruh. What do y'all think about this scene?
It's very rare that you get two scenes in an episode, and talking about the one with Phil and the sit down with Johnny, and this scene where like these are two of the most impactful scenes of this whole series. Like it's very rare in one episode you get two of these. And to your point, Mo, just Chris processing the information, not knowing what to do, not knowing like he's on the fence. I hate Tony, but this is what I do. This is my life. Like this is my livelihood. I don't know how to do anything else. And her kind of presenting him with this thing to get out of that. And this is the woman that I love. This is the woman that I thought got me. This is the woman that I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with. She's presenting me with this opportunity to get out of this, but I don't know if I want to. So this was the penultimate moment in the whole arc of Chris. It's like I was full of shit with the screenplays, with all of the other stuff that I said that I wanted to get out of this with. I want to be a gangster. Mm-hmm. Like he told her, I'm a soldier, Adriana. Like you never understood that about me. And I thought that you would, because if you did, then it would have never gotten as far as to me having to clean this mess up. So this was a brilliant scene from The Sopranos, brilliant scene from them in the acting standpoint of it, and character arcs as far as I've been lying to y'all, viewers. I've been lying to y'all about who Christopher Moltisanti was. I am the person who Tony Soprano thinks I am. I'm not the person that I think I am. I ain't the motherfucker that writes screenplays. I ain't the motherfucker that's going to try to do other stuff. I am a Soprano soldier. And when a motherfucker bring this to me and it's get out or double down, I'm going to double down because this is all I know. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant shit.
Hard to follow that up.
Her face, bro.
Spike said it all, man.
I don't know how she got there from an acting style. I don't know if she was holding her breath and letting it go to the max. I don't know how Drea de Matteo got there because she looked like she was on the verge of dying, dude.
She did that. She did that well in Sons of Anarchy too. Like just like she was in a she had an addiction. So just kind of those ODing and stuff like that, those emotions that she had, like she just really brought that to life, man. You just really see how codependent these two are because she just got choked to an inch within her life, and she's still trying to console Chris.
Still, bro.
And that lets you know they ended together, but they're just a mess, man. It's just this is exactly the only thing I'll say because Spike said it perfectly. This is exactly how I'd expect this to go down. If this was really happening, like the emotion, the anger, the confusion, the sadness, all of it in one, exactly how you expect it to go down.
It is.
You on mute, Spike.
So good. This is like documentary real life in the sense of this is how you would expect this to happen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he lost it.
You mix drugs in there too? Like, it's bad.
And I haven't been on drugs. I haven't been drinking. I haven't been doing this shit. So now I'm trying to adjust with how my mind's processing it with just taking this shit back into my life and how like drunk thoughts versus sober thoughts. Great shit.
Yeah. Blundetto calls Tony, and Tony pretty much makes peace with his cousin. Finally says it out loud.
Just the transition from that to this is impeccable writing. Like this is like to take us all the way to that high as a viewer of seeing what we've seen with Adriana and the FBI play out, get this damn near he choked her out scene, and then to immediately transition to what we've been waiting on with Blandetto and Tony and him making the phone call finally and them finally talking about what happened. That's remarkable television right there.
Shout out to Terrence Winter, man, the writer for this episode. Yeah, the writer for this episode. He knew it was going to be one of the most important episodes of the series. He had a 2-week deadline. He waited until the last 3 days to write this. He procrastinated.
That's some Breaking Bad shit.
Yeah, he had to. He said it was really some pressure. Like, how do I perfect this on such a prestigious show? How do I write this episode? And and I don't know if other people are like that. I know I can be like that. Where
me too.
Now it's under the pressure. I got to do it. So regardless of what I come up with, it's got to work.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So I might as well put my best foot forward.
I had 2 weeks, but these last 2 days is when I'm really going in.
Yeah, you don't have any time to overthink it, like because you in grind mode. I got to get it done, so I'm not gonna overthink. This is what makes sense to me, and I'm just gonna roll with it.
Concise.
The fact that he wrote this in 3 days and put it all together in this manner, man, is just incredible writing.
It really is. I think.
What should I do, Tom? Man, shut the fuck up, bro. What should I do? Don't call me. You lost all privileges to advice. Yeah, we lost all privileges.
Where you at?
You two bodies down, bro. You two bodies down talking about what should I do. Nah, you should have been asking what should I do after, like. But Tony gives them the big reveal, like, hey, I felt, I got in an argument with my mom. I passed out, hit my head, split my skull open, and Blundetto like, that's what this all is about. That's what this is all about, and. That's pretty much that. But then as soon as we get off, Tony says, hey, did you track that location? Great seed sown earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
Great seed.
That was their
master.
This was the Sopranos. My fault. Go ahead, Spike.
I was just going to say master manipulation by Tony. Like, as a viewer, you wonder throughout this series, is he a good guy, bad guy? Do he mean well? He knows that tracker is on his phone, like you said, Mo.
Yeah, because he set it up.
I'm going to tell this story that I've never told before because I know it's going to interest Tony B enough to stay on the phone as to where I can trace it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's being genuine here. I don't know if he's being authentic. I'm wondering if I know what needs to happen in order for him to stay on long enough for us to track this call. So I'm going to tell him something I've never told before that people have always wondered about it. Yeah. Him specifically and what got him locked up for 10 years.
That's interesting that you say that because my point was I always took it as he did, and maybe both things are true. I took it that he was sincere about it. It reminds me of the Avon Stringer scene on the rooftop. Not in exactly what was going on because they didn't necessarily admit, but it's one of those where both of them know, spoiler alert, fast forward the next 30 seconds if you've never seen The Wire, both of them knew that they turned on each other, right, at that point. They didn't know the other person knew, but they knew that they did it to each other. Stringer gave that number to Bunny, and Avon told Brother Muzone what was up. So it was like they both knew this is the last moment we're going to have. And I felt like Tony knew, like, this is the last time I'm ever going to be able to tell you this. Because the next time I see you, if I see you, like, I know what I got to do, or somebody might get to you first. And it just kind of was like that reality of what's going on.
Yeah. And the only way that I'm going to see you is if I keep you on the phone long enough to do this. And how do I keep you on the phone long enough? You've been calling, hanging up enough. I have to tell this story. So it's master class in writing and the Tony Soprano character as far as, is he being manipulative or is he being genuine?
I think there was a genuine aspect of it telling him, but I think it also knew that he had plans. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Because he called their cousin or whoever, uncle or whatever it may be, and right after then it was like, where you at?
Yeah,
So
because he knew where the bar was. You at Roy's? All right, but I know where Roy's is. Roy's might have been the same place where they all ate, and Tony got Chris got upset. That might have been the same spot, but he knew where it was in proximity. Mm-hmm. Oh shit! Because there's only reason. That's the thing about going upstate anywhere or going out to the country or anywhere. Like if I'm familiar with the area, I know where you are. Like there's only one place we go to out here. It's not like the big city. It's not like you got a million different options. Like nigga, I know
should have got way out, bro. Blundetto
he should have. And to Tony's credit, as we talk about him always being detailed, even though I know, I'm still double checking. I'm calling Uncle Pat. Mm-hmm. Just to confirm, like I heard this. I don't know if it's true. Let me call Uncle Pat. You know what time it is? I thought you was a night owl. I need to know this shit right now. Then I hear something going on with your crib. Yeah, man. You know, there's needs some kind of special permit. It's sitting up there abandoned. That's the confirmation you needed. Oh, he up there. We were just there.
That's good. That's really good. We get Chris and Adriana. They talk about possibilities, and he seemed partially open to it, even making the suggestion of doing his memoirs. So it did seem like Chris was kind of thinking about I mean, maybe it could work. And then the aide calls the feds saying she need more time. I don't know if there's more y'all want to add to it before we go into the next scene, which kind of ties into this when Christopher leaves the house.
Nah, come on, when you seen the people in the gas station.
Well, the scene before with him and Adriana before I get into the gas station scene.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Adriana was not trying to let that nigga out her sight.
Nah. And she's like, here, take my cigarettes. Like, look, nigga, smoke mine. Like, just don't go.
You ain't gotta go nowhere.
But we already passed the deadline for real, So Chris gets to the gas station. These scenes like this is what makes Sopranos. There was no dialogue, no monologue, just the scene playing out. What did y'all think about this?
I could never be that fucking guy. That's not who I am.
Yep.
Like he told Adriana a couple episodes, like, I'm a soldier, Adriana. When are you going to understand that? Like, I'm not the guy that with this luggage on the hood and the beat up Chevy with fucking 2 liters of Mountain Dews and badass kids and a wife I don't like. And a fucking mullet.
It's like the regularness of life. It's too hard for
man.
me
I'm exactly, man. I'm looking at that. This is what. Here's the thing. When I see people like that, all due respect, I always think to myself, like, they never thought their life was gonna be like that. They didn't plan on this shit. This shit just happened.
Absolutely.
They woke up one day. They woke up one day and he realized, like, man, I got these little badass kids. I got an awful haircut.
I'm stuck.
Like, to a certain degree, you stop giving a fuck. Yeah, you stop giving a fuck. Yeah. I'm doing just enough I need to do to wake up tomorrow and be okay. He looks miserable, man. That dude looks miserable. And Chris is like, if I'm gonna be miserable, I'm gonna be miserable doing what I know.
And then look at the car. Like the car was like some beat up hoopty. The door didn't match the color of the rest of the car.
Like, yeah, this is what our life's gonna be. This is what witness protectors.
Was that the like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, because Adriana came up to me talking about witness protecting. This is what these people do. This is what they look like. They don't have any kind of the thrill of it. We always talk about that heat line, man. The action is the juice. Like there's no more of that. I can't be in the middle of Nebraska somewhere, working at Kinko's. You know what I mean? Like I can't do that. Like I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm not going to be able to take this little stipend or whatever money that the government gives me for witness protection. Actually, they just going to put us up. I got to get a real job.
Yeah,
but that's not me. Like if that's what it comes down to, like I said, if I got to be miserable, I'd rather be miserable doing what I know.
Yeah, he talked about I can't do the regularness. Like it's too hard for him. I even thought it was symbolic him rubbing his Hummer. Maybe he should hum me. He's rubbing the Hummer, and it's like I got this fly whip. Then he looking over at dude with the Humpty Dumpty joint over there, and then yeah. I just thought that was like a little symbolic, but that's to me what makes Sopranos is no words needed. We pick up Chris's psyche. If I do choose to do this with Adriana, will it still be lit? Will it still be exciting? So Great scene. One of the most pivotal scenes on The Sopranos to me. Probably don't get as much love as others, but Tony calls Adriana. All I wanted to ask is, did this story make sense to y'all? Like all of a sudden, he said he was going to the gas station, but when Tony called Adriana about Chris, he's in a hospital. All of a sudden, like had too many drugs. I don't know. I guess I don't know how long Chris been gone. Did the story seem? I mean, obviously he's lying, but did it seem like, or are we just going with like, oh, Adriana's dumb, so she'll believe anything?
Nah, you gotta put yourself in Adriana's shoes.
Yeah,
like you got all right. And so I'm sure you know. I'm sure y'all know Mo probably, or whatever the case is. The scene that we get in season 6, the ride, the scene that actually shows Chris going to tell Tony, that was supposed to be in this episode.
Oh yeah, I love this story.
Yeah, it was Drea Mateo and Steven Van Zandt were the ones that told David Chase, like, nah, I think it's gonna be better if you just go straight to the Tony phone call scene, because it makes it more realistic. Here's the thing about episodes like this, and I'm learning this when we're doing best episode. You have to take yourself back to the first time watching this and remember what it was like.
Yeah.
And really remember, at this point, we don't know if Chris did this shit or not. Chris, based off their interaction, and that's what's genius about the show, based off the way Chris reacted in their interaction, and based off of Chris's past history, it wasn't outside of that one scene where him and Tony were in the car talking about something, if they ever thought about it. Like, it's not out the realm of possibility that Chris would have attempted suicide.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We don't know that Tony knows at this point. We might have an inkling, but this all felt real. And Tony's even playing it that way. I talked to his mom, anything, like he's seen his mom say he was upset about something. Adriana knows what he's upset about. And in her head, she's the only one that knows that. Right? I know why this man tried to commit suicide. She's wearing all this guilt. Remember, Adriana's the same person that almost got choked out. And as soon as she did, she went back to kissing Chris because she loves him that much.
True.
You mean to tell me this man tried to kill himself over some shit I did? Oh, absolutely. Let me drop everything. Seal coming? Cool. Come through. Like, I hate that this happened.
Well put. Richard. Well put, because even the way that it plays out, like, we get to see as fans, like you said, we don't know if this is true or not. So our defenses are lowered just like Adriana's are. Like, you lower your defenses if you don't see that scene. Of course, she's not going to know about it because she's somewhere else. But us as viewers are looking at it like, oh, shit, maybe something did happen. So I could understand Adriana wanting to figure it out. I could understand her saying, okay, yes, Seal, come pick me up. Let's figure out what's going on with the person that I love. Very good that they left this out, because I remember watching it in real time. I remember seeing this and not knowing what happened and like, damn, is that true? Like, did he do that for real? And them leaving us on the edge like that, like trying to figure out.
Yeah, like almost like, oh, they figured out. Yeah, that was really
great job.
I wonder if there's the edit out there where somebody threw the scene in there, like they took it from the later and threw it. I see stuff like that. Like, there's of course other deleted scenes. But yeah, no, well said.
Yeah, and that wouldn't have been as effective if we had the scene before Chris going over there, and then this scene,
we knew this was a lie. Like, we have no sympathies for Adriana in this moment. With the scene and the way that they did it, we still sympathizing from Adriana, even though she put our favorite character in jeopardy by talking to the feds. There's still this sympathy there, and like, oh damn, like what she did caused Chris to try and kill himself. Now I understand her feeling like, oh, I gotta take this ride with Seal. If we had seen that scene, we would have been like, oh, she's stupid. How does she not know not to get in the car with Seal? Really good.
And Tony's one key part about that phone call was Tony's reaction. Tony is somebody who knows it, and here's the impressive part. Tony's not face to face with Adriana, so he doesn't have to hide his facial expression. But he played the whole thing. Like, when Tony hangs up that phone and kind of gives that stare, you still on the fence, like, damn, like Chris really fucked up out here. Like, because otherwise it would have been like a relief or something.
He was getting tight with her too. So there's that part. It's like, damn, I thought I was talking about starting over with her, doing it right this time. So there's that element too. And of course the Danielle thing too. That was in Tony Soprano's house. But we go to the next scene. Adriana's in the car. We get this glimpse. Adriana's heading out on her own. And then it seems like it's a vision. And then we get the actual real time where she's in the passenger side with Syl. Syl is comforting her about the status of Christopher. And he's like, what's wrong? You know, Christopher, he's a good kid. He's going to be all right. It's almost like similar to the advice of Here to Infinity, I believe, or I think it's season 3 episode, but when Chris is in the hospital first time, he gets out of the car. They pull up in the forest. Syl keeps it turned on, pretty much. Rock-a-bye, baby.
During the car ride, when did it hit? When did it hit y'all? Do y'all remember in real time? During that car ride,
all the way to the end. I still like the first time around. I had to wait all the way. I still wasn't.
My spidey senses were up when I saw the leaves. Mainly because I watch enough television and know that they're not cutting to these leaves and to this forest for no reason. They keep going back and forth. Maybe it's a coincidence. I don't know. I wasn't 100% certain. I'm not going to sit here and say that. But it started to feel like that. And I'm like, what's going to happen here? Because it's either going to be Chris in this hospital laid up and maybe Chris goes out because of this, or they actually going to get Adriana. And I don't think it was until they actually made that. When he made that turn in there, I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, same.
It took me a grip.
Making the turn into the...
Oh, maybe around the turn, yeah.
Just her silence as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like her not being able to figure it out as a viewer helped me to stay in that space as well. Like she didn't panic too early. She still had hope that maybe Chris wasn't all right, everything maybe. So I'm thinking like as a viewer and liking the character of Adriana, like, oh, okay, yeah, she it may be, like you said, Rich, he laid up in the hospital bed at the end, and then we figure it out from there on the next episode. But then once he hit that turn, it's like,
that's what, to your point, Spike, because when Adriana's looking out the window and she's like, I mentioned how they cut to the woods, and she's crying almost like she knows what's about to happen.
What's up?
But when you watch the scene fully and they turn in, that surprise, like, where are we going? Yeah, that's when you know, like, she had no idea. Like, she's crying about Chris, not because she knows this is her demise.
Facts.
Because if that was the case, I think they would have done what they originally planned on doing, which, to keep this whole thing a secret, they shot those scenes of her actually fleeing, and they edited it into this actual scene. But it looks, in a sense, like, damn, I know I'm about to die. Like, I know I'm about to die, and then you realize, oh, that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
To be on a car ride and to, like, man, you genuinely think your fiance is in the hospital and find out you're about to get whacked. It's crazy, bruh. Like, you in the passenger side and you're being comforted. Like, you're being comforted by the person that's about to kill you. The last face you're going to see, dude. It's crazy to me, man.
I'm sorry,
man.
He's
a good kid. It's all right, man. No, it's going to be all right. What are you crying for? Like, knowing this nigga's about to be the one that's going to... Man, that's crazy.
This is my last one, I promise, for the episode, man. But it's the wire comparisons are going like through and through. But
you look good, girl.
You might as well go ahead.
Spike, my dog. You already know what I was going to. Just the difference of knowing versus not knowing. Mike knew what was up when he got in that car. He had a plan already ready for it. Like, how my head look, Mike, you look good, girl. If everybody knows the wire, you know that scene, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Just the difference in, like, I'm not letting it go down like this. But Adriana's a completely different character. It's just crazy how...
How'd you know? Y'all taught me.
Yeah, y'all taught me.
Y'all taught me.
You always was smart.
But he pretty much whacks Adriana, and that is it. She is.
Did y'all know in real time, like, fans didn't believe that she was dead?
I didn't know.
So in real time, fans didn't know that she was dead. They thought it. So one of the reasons that this was a big deal, fans loved Adriana.
Yeah,
like loved Adriana, and that's the reason they didn't show the headshot.
Yeah.
They didn't show the headshot because they, out of respect for her, they didn't want to show her getting, capped in the head. But Steven Van Zandt, like, once he got a hold of that, he was like, do the fans think I was shooting at squirrels? Like, what do they think I was shooting at? Like, the people were in such a denial about Adriana dying, and David Chase even had to come out and say we would not toy with y'all emotions like that. Like, she's dead. Like, I don't know what theories and conspiracies y'all coming up with, but Adriana's gone.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
Well shot, man. And
Drove it out
that
to the
no long
woods.
she is no longer with us. That's the end of the
This is
Adriana.
like Ned Stark head getting cut off.
It is. It really is.
It's a big moment, man.
Spoiler alert.
Man, Game of Thrones, that shit came out in 2011. If you ain't seen
And
it,
y'all was getting on me about spoilers.
It's been
This show
14
came out
years.
how long ago? Like
you were spoiling a whole different show, if I'm mistaken.
Nah. When y'all was
Nah, he was just jumping ahead. But I mean, we're
Yeah.
doing this actively though. You were just jumping ahead to
All
spoiling it for people that may have been listening for the first time.
Fair enough.
That's
Fair
the
enough.
difference. We don't care if you're watching
Hey,
Game of
yo,
Thrones and we spoil it. That's
I
on y'all.
was laughing, y'all. One more thing from the last episode, the email episode, cold cut. Right at the end, it's like, "What's your favorite scene?" And I said, "It was something with Adriana and Chris." I said, "Just don't want to spoil anything, but just enjoy these moments with them two together." And Richard's like, "Oh man, come on, man, what is wrong with you, bruh?"
Yeah,
Like,
you definitely said it without saying it.
yeah,
wow.
so here we are. That's what I was alluding to. If you didn't know, now you know, nigga. Tony and Johnny meet.
Hold on, you skipping over Chris. Packing the suitcase.
Christopher
I know it.
packing A's things and getting rid of her things, and then obviously he parks the car at the airport, and we get the intercom saying long-term parking, which is the name of the episode.
Well, I just want to give a quick shout out and reference or for Johnny Roselli.
Oh, that's the voice?
No, that's a Chicago gangster who was famous for saying, "If I'm ever missing, check the airports. That's where they always leave the car."
Wow.
Yeah, Chicago gangster from back in the day. He ended up getting killed over some. He was 71. He was found dead. They say because he was taking he was a part of that Chicago wave because I think he was born in like the early 1900s, like 1905. Yeah, he lived from 1905 to 1976. So he was in that wave of the mobsters that like started to take over Vegas. So if you watch Casino, you kind of know like we getting in on this action in Vegas.
Yeah.
And the what they say is that he was taking a bigger cut than what he should have, and the gangsters of Chicago found out and they went ahead and handled that. Even at 71, you can get it. But also with Johnny Roselli, one thing about him is the feds recruited him for something with Fidel Castro. Something about doing something against Fidel Castro. It's some wild shit. If you want to look it up, Johnny Roselli, but I always think about that with long-term parking because he was the one that actually said, like, if I ever go missing, check the airports because that's where they take the cars. And I always look at this scene and I think of that quote.
Great information, Rich. Great information, man. That's really good. Where'd you see that at? I mean, how did you even find out about that? Where'd that come from?
Don't worry about it, big dog.
Okay. All right. Well, Tony and Johnny meet, and Johnny said this is the last time meeting like this is undignified. Man, talk about an ego. Like he's for real. Like, nigga, we ain't not up.
I feel him though. Bro, I'm the boss of New York now. I ain't some like I ain't your friend no more.
Because they were
We
being like
real.
Carmine was,
Yeah, like I was the underboss then, and I was your friend then. Like you didn't kill my homeboy, you didn't kill my man's brother. Like I really, I'm doing you a favor now, even meeting you out here like this.
For sure.
I'm only doing this to tell you, nigga, I ain't meeting you out here like this no more. I got way too much to lose.
Yeah.
So I respect, like, again, one of my favorite characters in this episode. Like, he just carried the shit so well, bro. Like, Johnny Sack is a gangster's gangster, man.
He really is. He really is.
Real quick, Mo, also one last thing I meant to mention this with Johnny Roselli. Going back to your Lee Harvey Oswald, there's some conspiracies out there about. So the CIA hired him and recruited him to kill Fidel Castro, assassinate him. And then apparently there's a story about in return, like once he got to Cuba, they were like, nah, we want you to kill JFK. There's a bunch of conspiracy theories. I told y'all, if you ever want to, that's probably the biggest conspiracy theory ever about what happened to JFK, but he was involved and there's some conspiracies around that. Just wanted to throw it out there since you didn't, the whole Lee Harvey Oswald thing. I just thought that was interesting. But yeah, to y'all point, that Johnny Sack is like, man, fuck out of here. What the fuck I look like?
Yeah.
Fuck I look like looking at meeting under bridges with you.
with you, nigga. Like,
We
it self-served me when we had the hood projects and all this shit going on. But now I'm the boss, bro. It ain't like I ain't there is no reason for me to meet with you out here.
we sit down. We do sit downs, bro.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And you come to me, I ain't never come to Jersey. You got me crazy. You get fucked
straight
up.
up. Yeah. But yeah, pretty much Tony chooses his cousin because he, you know, he don't want him to suffer. And so Tony pretty much tells him, I know where he is, but I'm not going to give you the info on that.
One of my least favorite Tony Soprano moves.
Yeah, definitely. This speaks to
Fuck
the type
Blendetto,
of boss he
bro.
is. Yeah.
I need to make sure my family's straight and everything I got going on in Jersey straight. I'm not going out on no limb to protect you, bro.
Well, you gotta think about this.
Here's what a nigga at.
But think about
go
it.
get him. I don't.
If you,
not to,
you
I ain't cutting you
no,
off. I'm just
no,
saying.
I'm just
to
saying.
finish my point. Yeah. I don't care.
But if you got a cousin you tight with, like just think about one of your tight cousins. Like, no, we were tight growing up.
Yes.
Yeah, I went separate directions. Things changed, but y'all reconnected. And things went left. He got involved in some things, and it's like you still gonna say just take them.
Yes. When I pricked my finger, that was bigger than my cousin relationship. When I made the prick, yes. When I made the prick of my, if I had something going on like Tony Soprano, like when I made that prick of my finger and I was dedicated to this, and I'm putting this shit before my wife, I'm putting this shit before my kids because I went and killed somebody on a college tour. If I'm putting this shit before all of that, I'm not putting my cousin before it. Like, yeah, bro, you got to get it. And this nigga the most powerful nigga in New York right now. Yeah. Like, hey, I'm sorry, bro. Like you asked for it. I got to do what I have to do to keep this shit going from a family perspective. Like he's shown that with Chris, he's shown that with Carmella, he's shown that with Meadow, he's shown it with AJ, he's shown it with everybody that he deals with. My man that had the sports store, like everybody has shown that this thing that we do, this thing of ours, is the most important thing. It's not gonna change now. Here's this nigga address, this way he laid out at. I don't care what you do to him. I need them ports back open. I need everything that we had going on as far as me and you being my right-hand man, and how much of a profit or a benefit it would be with you being the king of New York and being my friend, Johnny Sack, versus a nigga who don't fuck with me. I need that back as the leader of this family.
Walking definition, the streets need a body. Facts. The longer you wait, the longer you wait, the harder it's gonna be, bro. Like, you know what it is. This is the game. This is the game, man. You take some wins and losses. You ain't do this yourself. Tony B acted alone. That was his decision. Tony B knew what was going on as soon as he walked down Billy and shot at Phil. Man, he knew that he was a dead man walking.
Yeah.
He said it. I left a pile of shit in your lap. Yep, you did. So you know how this ends. I would have told them that on the phone, maybe not on the phone. Or I might have subtly said it, man. You know how this plays out, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I was you, I'd get out of Dodge. Like, wherever I know where you at, leave there.
You better disappear, nigga. That better not be the place that you at a couple days from there.
Yeah. I'm gonna put these last few scenes together for the sake of time and turning this episode around. So Tony and Chris, they're at the Bing. Things get ugly. Tony slaps the dog shit out of him.
Dog shit out of Chris.
Feds meet about Adriana, and they realize quickly she's probably dead because she isn't smart enough to move to China. And Carmella and Tony, they get the spec house, and Tony pretty much processes everything that has happened, and that's it. Anything between those last three scenes.
That scene at the Bing adds to what Chris was saying on the unfavorable treatment that he gets versus what Tony B gets. Tony B deserved the smack and the kick in the face.
Yeah.
Chris didn't. But because Chris was the one that was there, he's the one that was younger, and we've been making fun of our whole life. He's the one that got it. So it added a lot to what Chris had been saying, because he didn't deserve it. Tony B deserved it.
Absolutely. Because that you should, even if he is using, you understand. You understand the gravity of that, and you understand why. Like, if there was any time for Chris to get a pass, it would have been that.
That would have been it.
Yeah, man. And I love the scene. Go ahead, my bad, Mo.
No, I was just gonna say Tony started beating him up like he was jumping him by himself.
He's frustrated. You know, that's how it is, man. I'm mad about something else. I'm gonna snap on my girl. I'm gonna snap on this. Like, bro, that wasn't even towards you. I was mad about some other shit. He mad at Tony B. And unfortunately, Chris gets it. But I was just gonna mention that scene with the feds. Like, I love when she mentioned like she really could have fled. She could be in China right now. And them niggas looked at her like
Everybody looked like, okay. All
what the
right.
fuck on, bro? Like,
she
you
ain't
about to get
smart enough for
demoted.
that. Like, come on.
Yeah, you might have got demoted after that comment. If you really think
You
that
definitely you getting
She
demoted
probably
because
did get demoted. We ain't see her no more after.
yeah.
Still
That's it. She definitely demoted because you went past the time you supposed to have her in cuffs brought back here.
And we had her. She was right here in our hands, and we had her. You let her go.
Yeah, because then at that point you could lock her up, bring her back up, and try to
whatever. Yep.
Like like they said in the earlier seasons with P, with Jimmy, like get them early, lock them up, put them back out on the street quickly, so that they can snitch, basically get information or whatever. But
they had a deleted scene too of the feds of old girl with the feds pulling up on Chris, telling him he was gonna pay for what happened to Adriana.
Oh
like,
yeah,
she didn't know what happened, but she knew Adriana was gone. And there was obviously it was deleted, which played out better for the episode.
It absolutely did, yeah.
So I'm glad they didn't use that.
Yeah, I would have preferred Big P's deleted scene. Is that it? Anything y'all want to add to the Carmela and Tony and the Spec House part of it, or that's
obviously the similarities, man. You got the woods again. You got those leaves.
Mm-hmm.
All this shit going on, and I still got to deal with this bullshit.
Yeah,
not
one represents the end of life. The other represents a new life as far as their marriage goes.
Yeah.
Someone pointed out. I read something where someone pointed out. Whitecaps is the episode where Tony and Carmela's relationship hit the rocks, while Chris got out of rehab that episode and reconciled with Adriana. Now you got this episode where Tony and Carmela are reconciling, and Chris and Adriana are on the outs.
180. Wow, that's good. Mm-hmm. That's really good. All right. Well, that's our episode, man. We thank y'all for tuning in. Before we get out of here, we'd like to leave with some rankings. So without further ado, I definitely believe we're gonna have trips on this joint, but we gotta go through the motion. Spike Lou, how do you rank this episode?
Made. This is a made episode.
Rich.
100%.
Made.
It's made for me. I knew we was gonna go trips here. It's undeniable. Who gets the good earner chain for you this episode, Spike Lou?
The good earner chain for this episode, I would give it to the FBI, man. They turned this bullshit video to what we don't know happened into a dumb person who don't know how to deal in criminal activity and getting almost
really close.
Almost really close, like you said, to one of the top bosses of the mafia families on the Eastern Seaboard. So I would give it to them.
And they got that terrorist angle that they kind of was like, okay, well, we'll visit that. But yeah, so yeah.
And this led to more shit too, like you said, with the terrorist angle. So yeah.
Rich, who gets the good earner chain for you?
Spike took my answer.
Oh, damn, wow!
I thought that was probably the least possible one that you would have went
with. Nah, I really was. That's what I was. Honestly, that's what I was thinking, because that's the only. There are people who got some wins, but they weren't like super big wins. So I'm gonna go with my least possible answer, which was my second place answer. I'm gonna go say Little Carmine. I see a J. Cole. I'm gonna apologize because I see the future.
Good. That's good.
And then when you see what happens in that beef, you like everybody starts to come out like, oh shit. And it goes to your theory, Mo, of maybe Carmine was smarter than we all gave him credit for.
Mm-hmm.
For him to concede and really have no repercussion from it, like for them to just ease up and be like, all right, cool, you conceded, bet. Like, because they still could have finished that job. We taking out you and your whole crew. We don't know that yet, which is why I didn't want to pick it, because there's still so much information with Little Carmine we don't know. Yeah. Only scene we got was him saying that he's bowing out. But in the grand scheme of things, in the long run, if you look at that, he's the winner. It's real interesting. He won this episode because of that one decision. It's cheap, so I'll admit that it's cheap because we didn't get a ton this episode. But I'm gonna give it to him just for sake.
I gotta go Carmella, man. Like, come on, like
that was my third choice.
yeah, Carmella easily for me. It's like, she know what it was. Things are better with Tony than without him, and I know there's no other way I can go. I tried to dip my toe into a regular guy like Wegler. We see where that went. I'm better off staying in the thing that I know, this social life that I know with the Gabs and the Rosalies. So yeah, Carmella. Who gets the Broken Balls Award for you, Spike Lee?
Adriana, man. She just could have brought this whole thing crumbling down just from being an idiot, man. And then ended up with not the whole thing crumbling down, but her losing her life. So Adriana, man.
Damn. Rich.
Christopher Moltisanti.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah, he got the Broken Balls Award, mainly because they always talk about how when you lose people, it's the people who are living who have to deal with it and deal with the grief. And Adriana, she's out of her misery now. None of this shit matters anymore to her because she ain't around to feel shit. But Chris does have to live with this. We see the downward spiral where it elevates, as Spike mentioned earlier, every single scene. I went from my Heineken to my wine to now I got the whole bottle of vodka. Now I sniffed H at the end of the episode. Like it's going down bad. And I lost 11 of my life. Because we did see throughout the chaos, we did see how much Chris loved her in this episode as well. That's rough, man. To live with that.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So I'm gonna give it to Chris.
I'm going FBI. They had a good setup with P, missed out on it. And then they got a good setup with A, missed out on it. So I'm going FBI. Spike Lee, what's your favorite line from the episode? Who had the bars for you this episode, man?
Take your fucking sorries and stick them up your ass. The great Phil Leotardo. And winner up was anybody ever die in your arms? Someone you love?
Oh, don't worry. It's somebody's lines here.
Okay.
I'm sure.
Yeah, my top is take your fucking sorries and stick them up your ass.
For real, though. That's my brother, dude. All right. What say you, Rich?
Real simple. The long gunman theory.
Right. It's underrated. Yeah.
Yeah. The long. It's the delivery with him and Johnny Sack's face. Like, all right. Like,
yeah, because you still trying to get it off like you did before. Like,
yeah, you got oceanfront property in Idaho too, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
This is the second time this motherfucker.
Yeah, it's like you playing me like I'm stupid.
Yeah, man. Stop.
You don't even have the status to play me like I'm stupid, bro. Right. Like you're not one of the other 5 families in New York. Y'all from Jersey. Why are you playing with me, bro?
Dang, I lost my damn line. Okay, hold on 1 second.
It was almost the Chris line. The same thing they use for Many Saints of Newark.
Oh, that's yeah. Oh, that's a good one too. That's a good one.
Yeah, that was almost a line that I'll use. But
to be honest, if now that watching it feels a season too late for me. It feels a season too late. It feels like it should have been season 4.
When he said that?
Yeah, to me it should. It feels that way. What was it? You said the long gunman theory? The lone gunman theory?
The lone gunman theory.
Okay. And mine's is the runner up that Spike Lee was. You ever lose somebody in your arms, cocksucker? Like, let's see if we can make that happen for you. Like, man, what?
I gotta take insults now?
Exactly, bro. And lastly, Spike Lee, your favorite moment of the episode.
To sit down with Johnny Sack, Phil Leotardo, and the rest of the New Jersey crew. Fantastic. I love this is the seeds, one of the many seeds that have been planted on Phil being like a very prominent figure moving forward. I love it. All of it makes sense to what we see from him moving forward.
Right down the same scene from me, Mo.
I think all 3 of us, bro.
Damn. I'm glad I didn't make a bet. What's your close second?
Close second is the Adriana getting whacked.
Okay. Damn.
That scene, it's hard because even the Adriana Chris scene, like being so anxious from death, like that. yeah, but it's that one because it was just like
Question mark.
they went double
Where-
team on that. That was crazy. Like Phil and Johnny Sack. That. Oh, I forgot a line. I didn't get to say. Seal said some people are better at as number 2.
That was a good one.
That was
Mo, where was the scene when the family got back together and they were popping the champagne for you?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't up there at all.
Really? Those are usually your scenes.
Yeah,
hey, bro,
it was.
I reached out to Spike and I told him, I said, "This is gonna be Mo's favorite scene. Like the toast to the family. Like you got to savor the important things." I'm like, Mo about to get on this.
That's Mo's favorite. Yeah, that's your bag.
It felt like
genuine.
It felt ingenuine. It felt like it was dark in there. Meadow wasn't around. It was so much that didn't feel good. It didn't feel good. Like, there's like Marco Polo felt good. That didn't feel good to me. It was like, okay, we're doing this, but it didn't feel good. So that's definitely, it wasn't nowhere near. But nonetheless, that is our episode, man. We thank y'all for tuning in. If y'all want to reach out to us, goodearnerpod@gmail.com, or y'all can hit us up on Instagram, goodearnerpod_Sopranos. We thank y'all for tuning in. And remember, don't forget about it.